Yo, guys, what's up?
We good this time?
Yeah, we're good this time. We're good this time. Welcome to episode 3 of the Two Players One Podcast, guys. I love that so much. The
I do too.
Podcast.
It's one of those things that just kind of naturally happened, and you're like, you know what?
That's our thing.
Let's stick with it.
Let's copyright that.
Yep. Done and done.
Today is going to be our second D23 podcast. We're covering basically all the non-Marvel content of that side of D23. I'm doing great tonight. I'm actually doing pretty good tonight. I don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
better
good
now.
Doing better now. Yeah.
Earlier today, I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to talk for a few hours, but now I'm like, I'm hyped.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, tonight we're kind of, if some of you guys didn't really see all what happened during D23, there's a few Disney projects that are going to come out that they're working on that were kind of interesting when they released like the info for it. I was for me at least, it was kind of like a okay. I mean, it's Disney doing Disney, so
that's exactly what it is. It's Disney being Disney at this point, and that's what's happened to Marvel. It's Disney-ified, but we're not talking about Marvel.
Right, yeah. So it's basically the whole Disney side of things, and then there's also some Star Wars news, and then
one Pixar thing.
A Pixar thing, and then non-Disney, we do have something DC that's for later as well. Came out a few days ago. Yeah. So that's kind of what we'll be doing tonight. Yeah, I mean that's all I got for the beginning here. I mean,
want to start with Indiana Jones? We want to go in order this time?
Yeah, we can go in order this time.
Not have cool transitions like last time. Yesterday was good.
Yeah,
we were pretty good on that.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen tonight. I wish we had footage. That's one, like, another thing about D23. Like, this wasn't exclusive. I don't think they got footage at all for this, but like, there was nothing for this either. I was like, oh, everything they got on stage, I was like, come on, give us something. And right. Like, nope. Here's the actors talking about it.
Right.
But
and for those of you that didn't really get it, we're talking about the new.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, you mentioned it, but there is a new Indiana Jones movie that's going to be coming out. Harrison Ford will be coming back as Indiana Jones, which should be interesting.
How long has it been? When was the last one? Let me Google it real quick.
I don't know, but the other day I was talking to my dad about George Lucas, and I was like,
Indiana Jones 4 was in 2008.
That's
a while.
14 years ago.
Sheesh.
Yeah. But I was talking to him, and we were talking about George Lucas, and I was going through his film because I thought he made, obviously he made Indiana Jones. He obviously made Star Wars. He made Howard the Duck.
Really?
Howard the Duck was a George Lucas movie.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And he made those.
That's something new I learned.
And I was like, okay, well, what other I know I've seen him, like, you're watching a movie and all of a sudden executive producer, boom, George Lucas shows up. And I'm just like, how many movies is he actually in? And so I went and looked. I didn't realize how much Indiana Jones content they pumped out in the 90s. Like,
a lot?
Oh my God, there was probably a good like 20 or 30 things on IMDb, because they did also Young Indiana Jones and a bunch of other different. It was there's so much on there. If you go on IMDb, right? If you go on IMDb and you look up George Lucas and you look at what he directed, I think he's actually at like 69 films directed or something like that, which is funny.
Did this come out after Star Wars, Indiana Jones, like the first one?
I believe so. I think it was 90s, like late 80s, early 90s. Okay. Because that was the reason they stopped making Star Wars stuff, was because George Lucas said he wanted to focus on Indiana Jones.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep, that's why episode 1, 2, and 3 didn't come out until 99, and then early 2000s.
See, this is why you're here on the Star Wars side of stuff, because I just watch it. I'm like the average Marvel consumer for Star Wars. I'm just here going, yes, give me.
Well, and like that's me for, like, in comparison to other people from Marvel, that's me. I'm just like, yes, okay. You read all the comics as a kid. I read none.
Yeah. Comics was my crap. Not even like Marvel comics as a kid. I read everything, like Archie and everything.
I read one Spider-Man
those
comic
comics.
line when I was a kid, and that was because it came in the mail, accidentally.
Oh, nice. Accidentally, it was mine. How dare you? It was the one I lost.
Someone was paying that $1.25 for a comic each week.
Okay,
Wasn't
this isn't
me.
Indiana Jones.
That's right. But yeah, I don't know if they really broadcast it at all.
I don't think they did anything like clip-wise. I think it was just him talking. And I said I had a little thing here that he says it'll kick your ass, which I'm excited for. I want to see him be old and do some sick action, because we didn't see that in Star Wars. We know what happened to him when he was old in Star Wars. So I want to see him be a little badass old man with a whip again, because that'd be sick.
Well, I hope there's another one of those moments where he's facing a guy who like twirls around a gun for like 30 seconds and then he just, or like twirls around, what does he twirl around? I forget.
I don't know.
He twirls around like something, and then Indiana Jones just like shoots him like after like a good 30 seconds of just the twirling, and I'm like, that's amazing. I hope they do something like that.
I'm excited to see what the storyline is going to be, because obviously it's going to be him being old is going to be part of the plot line. So I wonder if he's like been retired for these like years and he's coming back for one like final hoorah like adventure sort of thing, or he's just been doing this the whole time. Maybe I don't think there's any information really plot wise.
Nah, but I definitely feel like it's going to be one of those, hey, you were looking for this your whole entire career. We found information on it. You should come and get it.
If I go back and rewatch those movies, there might be something even that like he does not solve in those first ones that might be whatever it is. I haven't watched it in a long time. That's like we were talking about right before we started the podcast. Like you said, you watched one. It's probably been years since I've watched all of them, but I do
Lego Indiana Jones. That's all we need to know.
I do kind of remember that game fully. those early Lego adaptions were so much fun. And there's also that's when they had no talking either. Like Lego video games have talking now, which is like some of them have the setting where you can turn it off, which is cool, but like
Lego Star Wars, the new one.
It's just perfect.
The new one, they made an extra that you could buy in the game.
You have to buy it.
Yeah, you got in game you got to get it. It's like the red brick stuff.
I was gonna say that's crazy. $5 for for original Lego games.
I think they call it like a mumble talking or something like that. That's
awesome.
And it is awesome. But I mean, yeah, Indiana Jones 5, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll probably get. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm not that professional yet. I guess we probably won't have any conventions coming up soon now because it's the end of the year, right?
I mean, and we probably won't get much. I mean, like, kind of piggyback off of a topic we're probably gonna talk more about later. But if you guys remember at Comic-Con, they actually gave Ahsoka footage, and we have not seen that yet. And it was exclusive. Yeah, it was exclusive. And we have not seen that yet. So if we haven't seen that, and that's been since Comic-Con, and Comic-Con was what, like early last month-ish, right?
Yeah, it was just over the summer. That's all I'll know.
Yeah, it was sometime over the summer. But yeah, I was like, since we still haven't gotten that footage, I'm like, I don't know how long it'll be until we get that. That's why.
When does that show come out? You know, let's just go into talk about that. Okay. We talked about that.
Yeah. There's not much to talk about with that. Just hope that he comes back in badass faction. So, fucking Tom Cruise that shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So Ahsoka. So yeah, the new pic of her. I think they did. What did they do? I think they listened to people about. There's one thing about like. The race's like tails, like the head tails, they weren't accurate to Ahsoka's character when she showed up in Mandalorian, but Disney went back and corrected it and actually made the hair stuff, or not the head tail. There we go, head tail stuff, correct length and like proportion and everything like in the show. So the good thing that I got from that is that they're listening. And that's something, at least for me as a Star Wars fan, has been hoping they would do, is actually listen, because
I think that's the one like big thing that Star Wars is doing now that Marvel's not. Marvel has like its plan and it's going with it. Star Wars is like listening to its fan base and going, okay, what do you guys want?
Right.
That's why we're getting like the new stuff that's not in the Skywalker saga at all. And I'm excited. That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Because having to know like that lore is kind of easy and everybody knows it now, like the Skywalker stuff. But I want new stuff. I just want new stuff in the Star Wars world because that's fun to explore.
I'm the same way. I kind of wanted to say this actually before we preface and get into a lot of the Star Wars stuff, is that they're in a weird time right now because of the most recent trilogy and the fact that they have to build their fan base again. So a lot of these projects that we're seeing, like Tales of the Jedi, which we'll talk about later, but that's, you know, Clone Wars fandom. Mandalorian is based off, like, it has help from the fandom and also having that Boba Fett. So they're tying in two different fandoms of Star Wars into one show and trying to mix and match and kind of see where it's hitting, where it's not hitting. Like I know a lot of people were upset that in Mandalorian, the last season, there was a lot of Boba Fett in it. And then that in Boba Fett, I think that, or wait, no, I think it was reverse that. Boba Fett, there was a lot of Mandalorian in. And dealing with that.
See, that's all I watched of Boba Fett though.
See, and then that's the thing, is like it hit that for you, right? You know,
but I was like, so, oh, he's back. Okay,
right.
I'm watched.
And you watched it. You still watched the Book of Boba Fett, but it pulled the Mandalorian side of people in, and then the Book of Boba Fett being about Boba Fett pulled in all the, because you know there's that great divide in Star Wars where it's like episode 1, 2, and 3 people, and then episode 4, 5, 6, like sequel, prequel people. And I'm personally a prequel fan more than I am of the original trilogy. But I mean, I'm just younger, and that's typically where the divide lines. But I don't know.
I have an opinion like that, to be honest. I just don't like the newest trilogy.
Oh yeah, but see, and then that's the common consensus of like most people don't.
I saw
like
the newest
new
one in theater, and I was like, oh no, why did I just pay for that? I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like some of the fighting was like cool, but I was like, okay.
No, I was definitely the same way. I watched episode 7 in theaters 5 times on 5 separate occasions, and by the 5th time I started to enjoy it. Yeah, that's kind of where my, if you need any like description of my opinion on those movies, that's about where it is. When you get to the 5th time watching it, you may like it.
That's
you know,
when it gets good.
But no, going back to the whole it's they're in a weird time period. They just got to figure out what sticks and got to figure out that type of feel and where they want to go. It's like, do they want to then use the books that aren't canon and kind of do that storyline, or do they want to, you know, like there's rumors, I think there's a trilogy coming back about the Old Republic, and if they do that, and it's written by the people who made Game of Thrones, so that's in development.
That sounds pretty cool. Could you imagine a Star Wars show with like Prime budget, Lord of the Rings budget, bro? That'd be sick.
That would be so sick. Or even if they just made Star Wars, like if those Game of Thrones directors and writers made
Star Wars,
made Star Wars anything like the feel of Game of Thrones. I'm not talking about, obviously there was a lot of nudity, all that kind of stuff in Game of Thrones, but if you take in the action part of it and how like the show was treated like an epic,
and the drama in Game of Thrones, right,
the way it was shot and filmed, if you do that and you slap it, because I don't know if you know really anything about the Old Republic,
not
but
really.
The Old Republic is a very knight style, I get like medieval style type ish of Star Wars.
I'm sure there's something in my brain. I have heard of that obviously before, but
yeah, because it was the Jedi Sith War that was really the big part of that. So like if they do that, like if they do a Jedi Sith War and you have the Game of Thrones, it's game over. That would be such a good series. But anyways, I kind of wanted to do that as like a preface to anything Star Wars, because a lot of the Star Wars content we'll eventually talk about from here on out is currently in that period of like they're trying to find what sticks, so they're doing multiple different things. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. They just kind of want a continuity, but like to have good continuity you gotta know what sticks.
Yeah.
So But yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah, with Ahsoka, I guess we can kind of just circle back to Ahsoka.
Little tangent.
The news that we did get was that we got the cast for Ezra Bridger.
Yes.
He's going to be in Ahsoka, but I think they already like kind of hinted at that. And that's what Ahsoka's gonna be about, is finding Ezra.
Did they confirm if Christian's coming back for the show?
Hayden Christensen?
Yeah.
I think they said he shows up at one point in the show.
Okay, that'll be fun. I hope it's like the finale of this show with the mask breaking and how emotional that was. I hope it's one of those kind of scenes. Well, I don't want another mask breaking scene, but I just want an emotional scene.
That'd be like what, the third of? How many times has the mask broke?
I don't know, but it was funny when we said it was gonna happen and it did.
Well, yeah, because it happened in Rebels when him and Ahsoka faced each other.
Yeah, and I think when we were like watching it at that point, we said, I don't think they would bring him back without doing that to see his face in the mask broken like that, because you want his face like that.
So it would be really funny if they did do another mask breaking scene, because
it would be.
Or they do a live action remake of what happened at the end of Rebels, which would tie into the whole like finding Ezra, because that's what happened at the end of Rebels, was that Ezra and also Grand Admiral Thrawn. I'm excited for that, and if he gets casted, especially since Disney has it now.
Yeah, because that was like, I think that was the one thing I was watching New Rock break something down. And they were like, that's the one person that's not in live action yet.
Yep.
That they really want to see.
And there's a lot of, and see, that's when I'm talking about like tying in other people. That's why you got to bring Thrawn in, because you got the people who are super big fans of 4, 5, and 6. They're the people who also read the books, and one of the biggest book series was the Thrawn trilogy, and that was late 90s, and that's the Thrawn trilogy. Backstory to that was George Lucas went up to the writer Timothy Zahn and told him, hey, I want to make more, we're gonna see if people are still interested in Star Wars, to make more Star Wars content. You want to write a few books? And Zahn was like, sure, I'll do it. Created Thrawn, made that whole entire trilogy. The popularity of that trilogy of books actually is what kickstarted episode 1, 2, and 3 to be made. And so if those books never existed, the prequels never would have happened. Yeah, so that's kind of why, like, when they bring Thrawn in, they've got to be kind of careful. Because that became non-canon. They hired Zahn to then make more Thrawn books here recently, and so around, I think it was like 2013, 2014, more Thrawn books came out. I haven't read those. I have wanted to though. But he interacts with Anakin. He actually figures out that Anakin is Darth Vader. He knows all that and everything. And he's just a really, really smart dude. So if they bring him in, a lot of people are gonna have to, it's gonna be very critical. I will say that at least.
Yeah.
But I think, do you know what he looks like? Do you know what Thrawn looks like?
Blue?
Yeah, I want you to look him up real quick, and I want to see who you think would be who the first actor that comes to mind for you, because I know my fan cast for Thrawn.
I have no idea. Somebody has Tony Stark here, like Robert Downey Jr. What the hell?
So, a lot of people want Benedict Cumberbatch to do him.
Oh, I see that. As soon as you said it, I seen a picture of it on Google.
And
that, I could see that.
Yeah, I'm like, I want Benedict Cumberbatch to do it so badly.
I don't even know the character, but just seeing like this little edit, I could see it. Him in Star Wars would be pretty sweet.
Either him or and I'm gonna hate myself because I can't remember the actor, the guy who played Kirk in the new Star Trek series. Matt Damon, I think.
Matt Damon is in Star Trek?
Was it Matt Damon?
I have no idea.
No, it's not Matt Damon, right? I literally just screwed myself on that one. But I think that that guy would also make a good Thrawn.
I want to see Benedict Cumberbatch in Star Wars. That'd
There
be
you
sick.
go. It was Chris Pine, by the way.
That's close enough.
Close enough.
One of those actor fellows.
But yeah, I think Chris Pine would be also a decent Thrawn as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's I think that's going to be a big reveal in Ahsoka. We're going to get some Thrawn content, and that's I think why it's taking so long for news to come out about it, because I think he's going to play a big part in the show.
Cool. Like I said, I don't know really, so I'm just gonna be here for the ride.
This is like my high nerdy stuff. Like you get me talking about Star Wars and oh my
That's
gosh.
fine. Like I said, that's why you're here. You're the other half. You're Star Wars.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it about Ahsoka. Like I said, they're probably holding back some news probably because of that Thrawn aspect, because a lot of people are going to be expecting it. So.
And like I had the little note there, the fact that Jon Favreau is also doing this. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, John.
I love that man. I love him so much. I want to meet him in person. I'd be like, how big is your brain?
Right. Well, and see,
He's just
that's what I'm happy about, because Jon
He's
Favreau
brought
has
this
come
little
out.
dude. He brought this little dude into existence. How can you
Exactly.
how can you be mad at him for anything?
Like, and he comes from being a child that watched Star Wars as well, and
Yeah.
I think that that's critical, like especially for the new stuff.
That's like in any almost like pop culture stuff. I don't say not even Star Wars. Anybody who's like been raised on it or like diehard fans are the people that make like the best stuff in my opinions. When I was watching interviews about the Batman, what's his name? Robert Pattinson.
Oh,
And the guy who played the Riddler were literally nerding out over comic books the entire time in interviews, and I was like, this is who I want to be my villain in Batman.
Yes.
Because they just know the material and want to make this movie. They don't care about the money. I'm sure they do, but it's like, nah, I want to be Batman more than anything.
Right. you know they obviously care about the money, but at the same time you're like, you know that they care more.
Passion project for them.
Right. It's a passion project that they're getting paid for, so they're happy about it. And once you get to that point and it's not a movie that's just like made like, hey, we're gonna pull you because we think you do a good job, and the actor's like,
here's some money and make it.
right,
Like,
and they're like, I don't even know who this is, which is I guess kind of why I'm a little bit worried with the director for Love and Thunder when he goes to make a Star Wars movie, if he didn't even know Natalie Portman was in some of them. I'm like, okay, unless you're doing something I don't even know what he's really doing in Star Wars.
I don't even think he's starting to like write it yet, because he's been asked multiple times and he's like, I haven't even sat down to write it yet. He's like, I'm in that process of trying to write it. So
Okay.
there's like no news on that yet. He's just been planned to make something, even if he might not even make it. It might not even happen.
Okay, because if he does, I bet you it's something that's not even part of the Skywalker saga, so honestly it doesn't really matter.
Honestly, I really hope he doesn't do something super goofy. Like I don't want like, I like Love and Thunder, but I don't want that in Star Wars that much.
Right. If anything, hire him for a Christmas special or something.
That would be hilarious. If there's a new Star Wars Christmas special and it's directed by Taika Waititi, I'd be like, okay. All right, that's understandable.
Right.
That's gonna be a good Christmas special.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of cut on the Star Wars for now, because we're probably going to be talking about a lot later out down the line. I'll probably repeat myself like 3 times, like normal.
Probably.
So next thing I think we want to get into is the Avatar 4 starting filming.
Yeah,
that was news to me.
Insane. Yeah,
I didn't even know Avatar 3 was filming.
I talked about this in the Discord that I'm in, and I was like, they must be doing like giving this Lord of the Rings treatment, where they finished. Like that's why we haven't seen these actors that are in these movies anywhere else. Because they've just been doing this. They've been locked into this.
Yeah,
like straight up. Because the fact that 2 is done and 3 is done is like, what? I think 2 is like fully done, and then I saw a tweet about it, and 3 is like just finished shooting, so there's still all the editing and everything. But yeah, the fact that 4 is starting to be shot already is crazy. Aren't they going to like 8?
I don't know. I don't even know anything about. I don't even know anything about like what's going on with Avatar right now. That's a comment. What I just added is a comment after to make myself remember. So, because you mentioned about the Lord of the Rings treatment.
Oh,
and
okay.
I just wanted to bring him up real quick. But yeah, no, I had no idea that like Avatar 3 was even filming.
Nope.
I had no idea Avatar 2 was coming out.
I had to look up the information. I was like, is this a typo? Did they mean 3's starting?
Right.
And then I was like, I googled it and I was like, nope, all the articles are saying 4, and I was like, what?
Yeah, they're
What?
just gonna do like they're just copying like actual Avatar. They're doing like Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air. Because the first one would be air, the second one would be water.
I will laugh so hard if the third movie is like in a volcano or something.
Oh my God.
Be like, bruh.
Yeah.
I'll be like, bruh, they're actually doing it.
Ugh.
I'm excited for like to watch the second one, but like I'm not that like I don't need 8 Avatar movies. By the end of it. Like I really don't.
I'm just like, okay, you made the #1 grossing movie that stood the time for like
and now it's
till
like
Endgame, right?
7 more times. Yeah.
It came out in 2012 and it was the top grossing until Endgame came out.
Let me see what it is for sure now, because I think Endgame might have been topped by the Top Gun topped it, right?
Maybe
Top
opening
Gun's-
weekend, but not overall. I don't think.
Okay.
Because Endgame did it overall, and that's what they were talking about, was that it would. I still when I saw Endgame and then I heard that news that it was gonna beat Avatar, I was like, that many people wouldn't watch Avatar when it came out.
Avatar still did beat it. 2.8 billion is Avatar, and then Endgame was 2.7 billion. But it's like very close.
Oh, but see,
and they're re-releasing Avatar this December, so they're gonna top it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
even more.
It's like
low key, I might go watch it when it re-releases.
I might too.
Back.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was made for theaters too. Like when I watched it for the first time, I watched it on TV. I'm like, this is like, eh. And then, but thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? That would actually be pretty cool to go see. And I think it was so it was 2012. So wasn't it like the big push for like 3D, like the real 3D?
Yeah. When that originally came out, it was like the biggest thing for movie and cinema.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants to do with every release, but I don't see him topping it every time. Like, what is it, by like the 8th movie, we're gonna be able to go into the movie and be in the movie.
It's gonna be all AR
and
tech.
He's gonna be like, that's it. That's all.
Right.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Avatar, it was just like
It's a cool world. It's a cool world, but it
yeah.
happened so long ago. I'm like, I don't have that much hype for it.
I mean, literally 10 years ago.
Yeah, going back to see it re-release because they are like upgrading the graphics and CGI and everything when it's re-released, so that'll be cool to go see again.
From what I recall,
probably look amazing.
Yeah, but
like
from what I recall,
still did.
Yeah. Oh, I know what they're probably doing. They're probably making it 4K.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things, and then to work probably even more IMAX because like IMAX has advanced a lot since that first came out. I think that big thing. I think IMAX like was like the thing that came out with that movie when it came out. I think that was the thing. Like 3D was 3D IMAX like together. Like that was the big thing he made for this movie.
If not, it was definitely one of those selling points to like, hey, this is like one of the first movies filmed in this style. This is made for this style. Yeah,
that's why I made so much.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, no, like you said earlier, like a little bit ago, the world is awesome. I like it. The whole
it's Pandora, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah. The whole bonding though with. I don't know how I felt about that because that was the same way they repopulate, and I'm just like, that's just kind of weird. That's kind of weird, man.
My one weird thing about, I guess we just talk about Avatar because it's just that's the point. But the second one is about them having a family, but the kid is human, and I'm like, how'd that work? Because he's all blue by the end of the first movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something I have to rewatch the movie for.
There's probably some explanation in the next movie that'll be why he's human. But I'm like, unless like there was some weird thing of him impregnating her like before he fully turned into an avatar or something.
Maybe? I have no clue.
But their child is human, and so I'm like, that's weird. That's probably gonna be the big plot point or something.
Yeah.
The government probably wants their child or something.
Oh yeah, no, that actually sounds about right. That would be that'd be a movie plot for sure.
I'm just excited to see what he does with it because it's James Cameron,
right?
He doesn't let it go out unless it's something big and magical.
And
the first trailer for the second one, I think it was before Multiverse of Madness or something. Like that was when it first came out, and I was in theaters. I'm watching it. I was like, okay, because there's like a line of dialogue. It's just all music, and I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is a sick trailer.
Yeah, it was all visual. Because I remember like sitting. I think it was Multiverse of Madness when I even heard about it, because I don't think I even heard about it until then. And I just sat there and I'm like,
I think that was the movie it released with. I'm pretty sure.
Well, and so yeah, then the trailer came on, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And then I was like, wait, they're making another Avatar? I was like, what? What? Okay, you do you. You do you, man. I was like, okay, bud.
And I feel like, what has he made like in the time since then? He's made a few things, right? James Cameron?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know my directors. I don't know actors. I feel like throughout this podcast, that's something we're gonna probably get like really good at, is learning more.
I'm like very below average. The thing I know most is voice actors. That's where I know my crap. And I think that's just because I grew up on cartoons. But,
right. And see, I would say I'm kind of the same. But then I sit there and realize while watching Ben 10 that Tara Strong is the voice for Ben 10.
That's one I didn't know either.
Yeah, the voice of Raven, voice of Ben 10, voice of Timmy in Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the money she has. That's so crazy.
But I mean, that's Avatar. And so what I wanted to say when you were talking about the treatment for the Lord of the Rings treatment, okay. I've had this weird thing of like seeing these random movies pop up with Mark Wahlberg in it. He's like in like a good 4 new movies that have just come out. He was in Uncharted. He's in a new Netflix original movie.
That father priest movie. I know that one. I was there when he was in.
And so in the past like year or so, he's been in like 4 or 5 different movies.
He's pulled the Rock treatment. He just showed up and stuff.
Well, my dad mentioned it's like, wasn't he in not Brooklyn? What show was he in? He was in a show, I think. And so that show was going on for like ever. And so I'm wondering if, I don't know about in the show or something like that, but if he got like kicked out or like died and got killed off in the show or something.
He was in a show?
I think so. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's so weird. He just disappeared and now he's back. And
like, I don't know. I've seen Mark Wahlberg around for a while here now.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me, and I'm just now seeing him. But
might just be you.
I mean, when I look at like IMDb,
He's been consistent.
He was in Uncharted. This is 2022. He was in what, 3 different movies I see right now? 3 different 2022 movies. And then I guess that's probably why I'm seeing him now. Father Stew, Uncharted, and then the movie Me Time that has Kevin Hart in it. But I don't know. Maybe he's just pumping out more now.
Oh God. Yeah. He's bored.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just gonna do stuff.
I was just like, okay, just welcome back, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Well,
I don't know. That was weird for me to see you write down.
I know. I kind of just walked it down. But yeah, I don't know. That maybe just be me. Oh wait, so he was an executive producer on a TV show. It looks like from 2008 to 2021. So I don't know. It looks like he was writing a few things. Oh, and he's running a restaurant company now, so I guess that's also true.
Wow. There's so many like celebrities that do that now.
Yes,
but it's kind of smart.
We have one actually around me. Wahlburgers.
Really? Like his? Oh my goodness.
Wahlburgers. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, that's enough of Mark Wahlberg. I just thought I'd bring that up because I just thought it was weird. Every time I turn around now, I feel like I'm seeing Mark Wahlberg, and I'm like,
Mark Wahlberg on the D23 podcast.
Yeah. Hey, he was with Tom Holland in Uncharted. It makes sense. It has a tie to Disney. Okay.
Sony. Okay. Very, very.
I'm talking about Tom Holland and tying into the Marvel MCU. Okay. He plays Spider-Man. Spider-Man's in the MCU, and the MCU is Disney, so it ties into D23. I have my connections. Okay.
Okay, Illuminati breakdown video.
It's not. I think that's way less worse than like Eric Voss with Mephisto. Okay. Anyways,
Nah, everything he says about Mephisto is true. Every pixel that he sees.
God. Anyways, coming back. So yeah, that was pretty much it with Avatar. That's gonna be cool.
Basically.
Next is the Peter Pan and Wendy movie.
It's that most of this stuff there's not that much to talk about, but we can.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those Disney's just being Disney.
Yeah.
Why? Like I get making a new like up-to-date version, but why?
Right. I think I know why. Because I don't know if you ever watched the show, but Once Upon a Time. Did you see that show?
I didn't watch it all, but I've seen it. Like I've seen stuff of it. Yeah.
So it ended in 2018, and so the main villain of the last few seasons of Once Upon a Time, I think it was the last season, was Peter Pan. Yeah, they brought Peter Pan and Wendy into the show, and then you also had, like also Frozen was in it at one point.
I remember that was one part I almost started watching the show. I was like, they actually brought Anna and Elsa into this. I was like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, I think Sven was even in it as well, but
that's cool.
It was a really good show, but I think the ending of it, so that was in 2018, and we know that these kind of side project movies take a little bit to develop and go through for marketing, so I'm wondering if this got stuck in COVID and it was actually supposed to come out after Once Upon a Time ended, a little bit after that, because we're talking about early 2020 and this show ended in 2018, so I mean that's 2 years for production, and then for them to actually push it out, I feel like it was in a backlog of some sort.
Probably.
But
Disney probably has so much stuff that they're just I just hope it's like something like a little different. Since it's named Peter Pan and Wendy, I hope that they don't go to Neverland. I hope it's just Peter Pan and Wendy messing up some stuff like around London or something.
Yeah,
that's what I hope it is.
And because with the Once Upon a Time stuff, Peter Pan, the reason why he brought kids to because I since I watched that, the most recent, I can't dissociate what's that and the original Peter Pan, because that was just so much more than the original Peter Pan. But basically he's trying to like steal other people's life, and that's what keeping them young in Neverland does, or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that was the premise of it, and so the only way he can stay young is if people stay on Neverland. So I think that was the plot. From what I remember from 3 years ago or 5 years ago, that was the plot.
That would be pretty cool to see in a movie, but I don't think they would do that in this.
I know. I'm just saying that they've because that was an ABC show, so that was still Disney owned.
That's true.
And so I'm saying that since they have gone that way on a more darker spin on, Disney princess stuff, that
I would love to see
be that. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a more darker twist on Peter Pan.
I don't want to see like the same story again. I really don't. I was like so hyped for the Pinocchio remake. I haven't even watched it yet. Apparently everybody's like, it's bad. It's like one of the most lifeless remakes that they've made, and I'm like, great.
So it's a remake and not like a.
It's like it's a remake reboot-esque thing, because it's straight up the old Pinocchio from the original animation. Like they brought him into like CGI and everything.
Oh.
But apparently it's just like it's the same story. There's like a few other things, like there's one new character or something that's added for a plot point, but it's literally almost the same exact movie from the original animated one, and it's not that good apparently.
Interesting.
Which made me sad, because I saw the first trailer and I was like, oh, I'm so excited. This is the only time I was excited for like one of those Disney movies to be remade. I just love Pinocchio, and it was bad, and I was like, oh, I don't want any more now. I don't really care for remade live action stuff.
And I feel so bad. Like I was about to say I feel so bad for Disney, but at the same time it's one of those things. It's Disney, but like
it's Disney.
They are, and I will say, like, the writers for Disney, I do feel bad for them, because it's at a point right now where when no matter what thing you try to make new, people are going to call it cringe automatically.
We're in a time of the internet and social media that no matter what you put out, there's going to be backlash. Somebody's going to have an opinion that's going to try to cancel you over something. Like, it's
all
wild.
that and nothing. Like, it's so to be original is so much harder.
That too. I was thinking about it one day, just thinking about like trying to make a script for something now would be horrible because everything's been done.
Right. And so like, let's just say you do go to write a script about a certain character that does a certain thing. You'll probably have like 2 or 3 indie writers trying to just like copyright something on it. And it's like, that didn't really happen with Cinderella. That didn't really happen with the Beauty and the Beast. Like all these different things that are like Disney classics. Like, I mean, hell, you even want to talk about Cars? Who would put a talking Cars in a movie? Why? You know? But nowadays, when we look at it, it's like, oh, a ship is talking? That's fine.
That's like one of Disney / Pixar's whole spiel now. They're like, what can we bring to life?
Right.
And give emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, oh, and there was like the one guy that got sued on TikTok for making a car that looked too much like Lightning McQueen.
I remember that. He made Lightning McQueen. He had like the numbers like and everything, and he got in trouble for it. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yep. And yeah, he actually got sued for it.
Why can't Disney have fun?
And Disney won. He lost. It was sad.
It's understandable because if he does fully make his car, yeah, but like Disney, just have fun. He's promoting. He's giving you free promotion for cars.
Right. Right.
Like, bruh.
Right. They said it was too accurate. That was their point. And
that's even like that's a little tangent about cars, but even that's back now. I think it's out now, but they made like a little short like series of animated stuff of Mater and Lightning McQueen being back, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
okay.
they're making those. Well, the Cars never left. They were making Mater shorts all the time.
That's true, actually. I guess Cars and Toy Story are like the only two that have like kind of stayed with shorts, because there was a lot of Toy Story shorts as well. In between like Toy Story 3 and 4, there's a lot. I remember seeing them.
Well, and with Mater being Larry the Cable Guy, it's not hard for him to just sit there and pump out stuff.
Oh, I love him so much.
Yeah. Oh, and then Lightning McQueen was Owen Wilson, so it's like you got the two.
Wow! Wow!
you got the two people who probably don't care. Like, I mean, Owen Wilson does so many different things, and like with Car, spend 30 minutes to do this voice line for Lightning McQueen real quick, and he's like, okay, one take done.
Yeah, like these shorts, yeah, that could easily be done, especially now because they're wired to be able to work like COVID now, so I'm sure most of these actors have a booth in their house now. They can just record. So it's like, here's 10 lines, go record. Just okay.
Wow, I'm Speed. Wow, I gotta go fast. Wow.
And then that's just
pretty much. Pretty much. Man. But yeah, so kind of going back to the Peter Pan, like so
our tangents are amazing.
Right, and so like this episode of the pod is probably gonna be a lot of tangents because we don't have a ton of like for the stuff we discussed, there's not a lot of content there. So it's more of like we talk about it and then bring in another thing for an example of what we may think something may go.
The fact that we've gone through 1, 2, 3, and we're on our 4th topic, and we're at the time that we got through She-Hulk.
yeah. So. Yeah. Well, I mean, Star Wars will probably take a bulk of the time there at the end.
Probably at the end.
But yeah, I mean, Peter Pan and Wendy. I'll probably go. Like all these movies, I'll probably go watch in theater. Honestly,
I think that one might not even be in a theater. I think that one just might be a Disney Plus thing.
Oh, then I'll probably end up watching it sometime on Disney Plus.
For me, it depends on if it's a new-ish story. I don't like I said, I want them around London. I don't just want a story of what we already know about Peter Pan.
Right.
Like, I understand remaking it for like the newer generation, but like they can go watch the old stuff. Like, simple as that. Like, go watch Hook. Hook was good. I loved Hook with Robin Williams and stuff.
Oh yeah.
When he is Pan and old and stuff. Like, that's such a good movie. So I just want something like new-ish. That'd be nice.
It would be nice, and it'd be a nice little refresh. But
and it'll be exciting actually to see who's playing those two as well. I didn't even think about that. Oh
yeah. Well,
Peter Pan and Wendy.
What if the Peter Pan is being played by the what?
I was like Walker Scobell or whatever his name is, the guy who's playing Percy Jackson.
I was literally gonna say that. That's literally the actor.
Yeah. He's a little blonde kid. Disney has him on like a contract now. He signed with his blood, and he's like, they're like, you're mine now. And he's like, okay.
I mean, I don't see why
That
not.
is, that would be a good casting for that actually, but I don't see him doing that while he's also working on Percy Jackson. Because that's probably, well, I guess
Yeah.
Percy Jackson's being shot now, and that Peter Pan might be done. So maybe.
Yeah,
Who
like I
knows?
said, I don't know if this was like a post-COVID decision or if it was pre-COVID and got put in the backlog.
That's true.
So I don't know. But we were talking about that's actually later. We'll do that later because that's a trailer.
Yeah.
We should probably get through all the stuff that's non-trailer based first.
Yes, sir. Which is not that much left.
Yeah. So I mean, now we got what, Mufasa? That movie
Another
got,
Disney,
Mhm.
another Disney being Disney thing.
and I don't mind about that. So, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter that were like, "Why make this when you can make a Scar movie?" And I just sat there and I was like, "Are you dumb?"
Well, I'm not about the Scar movie. I'm on the fence of why.
Yeah. I
There was-
mean,
There was so much backlash on the live action Lion King that they made.
mhm.
Why are they making this?
What's really
Like,
bad is
this
that
is
I
the
actually
one-
liked it.
I didn't mind it either, but I was like the whole thing of them being like, they're calling it live action, but it wasn't live action. Like, these are CG animals. Like,
Yeah.
these aren't real animals.
Right.
And like, I don't know, it didn't feel like it was Lion King, but I don't know, it didn't feel as like, I didn't get into as much as the animated one. Felt
Right.
lifeless when it's actual animals to me, which is weird.
Because it's hard to do like the
Expressions on
Yeah.
real animals.
right. And so now that they're making Mufasa, like I said, I saw that little bit of outrage on people who was like, "Oh, actually, I want a Scar movie. That would be so much better." I'm like, "Are you dumb? Do you not remember who Scar was?
Yeah.
He's literally Mufasa's brother. Like, how is he not gonna be in the movie? This is probably gonna
Yeah.
be a This is probably gonna be a
I don't-
Scar movie.
It'll probably be like, if it's this, I might get interested. If it's like a reason why they butt heads, that would be cool. Because there's
Yeah.
not really that much of that in Lion King. Like, obviously Scar wants the title and everything, but there's
Mhm.
got to be that hatred from somewhere. It's got to root from somewhere. So that would be cool.
I
I'd mess with that.
I want this to be like a Mufasa and Scar origin story. I mean, if that's
That'd
good,
be cool.
that,
And then
that-
you see like Scar like hook up with the hyenas for the first time and stuff. That would be cool. Like making that bond. That would be cool.
yeah. And I hope
But
that's the way they're
want
going.
I don't want some cheap just prequel, dude. I'm sick of it. When I heard that, I was like, they literally just spin a wheel. They have their IPs on a wheel and they spin it, and then whatever it lands on, they go. And then they have another wheel that goes prequel or sequel, and then they spin that and they go, okay, it's a prequel. Let's go.
It's
and
a
they start writing it.
prequel.
'Cause that's what it feels like, dude. Or
Yeah.
well, it's live action, prequel or sequel, and then sometimes it lands in between. So they're like, oh, we're doing both. It's a live action and it's a prequel. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like with Star Wars, I think Disney's also in that kind of realm of like they're just trying to find their nick now. They had it before with Pixar and a lot of stuff, but
Pixar's still going good, and we could kind of a little bit link in the one Pixar thing with them making
Yeah.
Elemental there. Like they still have their give blank emotions and they make new movies, and that's like
Mhm.
that's literally what Pixar does, and I'm okay with that being them.
right.
But I agree, Disney's like in that weird area where they're like, what do we do? Like
It's so hard to
we-
make movies nowadays.
we have all this money. What do we do? And it
Right.
ends up just being live action remakes. I'm excited for Hercules. That being remade, and it's the Russo brothers behind
Mhm.
it. I was like, the only thing that scares me is that they said they are gonna bring it like more modern. And I was like, oh no, don't make it too modern, please, because it's supposed to be, you know, like ancient
Right.
Greek and shit. So
Right.
please don't make it too modern. I'll get upset.
Oh my gosh, Hercules. I forgot even about that.
If Hercules is like a 30-year-old hipster, I might not want to be a Disney fan anymore.
Oh my gosh. You just brought in Hercules. Oh my
Hercules is one of my favorite like Disney movies, and if they mess that up in live action, I'm gonna be so upset.
Yeah, well, it's like because you said that, and I didn't even think about the live action movie for Hercules. Because when you said
It's
that,
confirmed.
my brain just went to Marvel because Hercules was at the end of Love and Thunder.
Which we don't even know if that's going to be picked up. It's kind of just happened. I think I saw a thing about that. Oh, it was the actor himself who just said, "Went, yeah, I have no, there's no other plans for that." He's like, "I just kind of shot that scene and that's it." And I was like,
Yeah, I like that's Marvel talk, but that's where I went when he said Hercules. I immediately thought Marvel because I didn't even think about the Disney movie of Hercules, but that would be cool to get
I hope it's done
probably
well.
gonna do a live
because
action remake for it.
These live actions are like Mulan. The fact that Mulan didn't have music in it, bro.
Yeah,
That's why. Look, this is like we're watching the trailer, but I'm gonna talk about it a little bit anyways. The Little Mermaid will be good because it has a music that was
Yeah.
in the teaser. And I'm like, all right, if that didn't have the music, people boycott it. And be like, not this live action.
well, because you also not recent, but a more recent live action thing that happened was Clifford,
I didn't
and
watch that.
oh my god, I saw that in theaters. It like they did so well with that movie in my opinion. Because I used to love Clifford. I was like,
I watched Clifford a lot as well.
yeah, I had that. I had the
Back in Curious
books.
George.
Yeah, I mean, I had like the Clifford books and like everything. And when I saw it go into live action, it like they hit like all the heartstrings in it and all the nostalgia effects. So I'm like,
I'm gonna have
if
to watch
that's
that then.
yeah, I mean, I literally cried a little bit during the movie. I don't cry during movies, and that made me tear up a little bit. I was like,
Bro,
because
I'm
of
gonna
how
bawl then. I cry all the time. Fuck.
because of just how nostalgic it felt. Because the very end scene, they basically do like this whole like picture moment with the family, and then it kind of does that weird transition into a drawing, and it looks
Like the show.
yeah, and it looks exactly like the show, and that's what got me. I was like, oh my god. So if they can take like that little aspect of like and make the more, because when we look at it now, we watch these live action remakes and we're just like, okay, there's nothing that really, as a kid we were intrigued because they were most likely funny, they looked really cool, the animals were doing dumb shit or something like that, something dumb was happening. When you put it into live action, they do all the same things just in live action. The thing
Yeah.
Clifford did was that they made the characters, like, and the actors played it really well on being goofy and everything like that. Like there was just a fight in a convenience store where this guy used like the sausage links as nunchucks. You know, like it's that kind of like goofiness to it that makes you feel like you're a kid again.
You're still like that kind of goofiness also makes it still feel like it's animated a little bit.
Yeah.
Like when they make it too real, you're like that takes a little bit of the fun out of it. Like
Right.
I understand making it feel real, but like it's supposed to be a little animated. That's the whole point of animation. Like
It's supposed to be kid.
taking it all out, it's gonna be like
Mm-hmm. Right, and I think that's kind of what, if anything, Disney has to get back to, is like
Yeah.
embracing that fact that they're a big base of like movies and animated shows a lot of kids enjoyed, but with the live action remakes they gotta start adding in just a little bit that makes it somehow feel like a kids movie again. I honestly feel like they did that with the live action remake of Lady and the Tramp. They live action
I don't
remade
think
that.
I've seen that either. 'Cause that's
That
what-
one,
I don't like to watch them unless I'm like, because I know of how they are.
right, it seems like the best ones that they do are the ones that like some people are like, eh, because like the big ones, like with the Little Mermaid coming out, a lot of people are gonna watch that. When the Lady and the Tramp happened, people were like, it's Lady and the Tramp, you know.
Yeah.
And when I went, I was the same way because I didn't watch it for a good year or something after it came out, and I'm just like, when I went and watched it, I was like, this is good. Disney did good on this, and if they can do that with other live action remakes, I don't know. Maybe that's just me with just the whole. I understand what they're trying to do, and a lot of people don't understand what they're trying to do, and that's where the rage comes from. I don't know. But I think hopefully that'll translate into Little Mermaid as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to. And that Elemental Pixar movie, I mean, I honestly didn't even really hear
There's
about
not
that.
much to talk about, but it's just like it's literally what I have written down there. They're gonna give elements feelings. That's their new shtick.
Giving things feelings.
But it'll be a cute little movie of, well, the main people are, one's a water dude, and then it's a fire girl. So you hear that and you're like, all right, it's gonna be, they can't be together because if they touch or whatever, they're gonna sizzle out or something. It's gonna be something like that, or it'll be a classic like Romeo and Juliet storyline where their families say they can't be together because they're opposite elementals, but they still want to be together. Right. It'll be something like that, and it's Pixar, so it's gonna be easy guess plotline like that too. But I'm fine with it. Hopefully, it's a good world.
Yeah.
Because they do, some of these are really good. Like it's a little bit of a tangent, but they announced, I guess this does work at D23 as well. They announced Inside Out 2, which I don't give a crap about. I like the first one, but I really don't care about a second one.
Yeah, I don't even think I've watched the first one. I'm gonna be honest.
I love when they do give like things feelings, like Inside Out, because they literally gave feelings. Like it just has to be done well.
Yeah, and
that's all they do now.
I think
Pixar wise.
Yeah, Pixar, I think it really handles that well. I would say that I probably trust them to make movies really well, and I'm pretty sure, like, I haven't seen Inside Out. If I watched it, I probably would like it. But
I can like personally say mostly like every Pixar movie I've watched I've enjoyed. I don't think there's been a Pixar movie where I've been like after it, because they all touch your heartstrings. The animation's usually always good. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things you sit down, you know, you're gonna have a nice time. Like they're family movies, really. Sit with your family and watch and enjoy them.
Right.
That's all like, yeah, Toy Story, Cars. That's all Pixar. Well, it's Disney Pixar, but it's Pixar.
Right.
More.
Right. Yeah, it's not like Disney is making the movie. It's Pixar making the movie under the Disney name now. So.
But I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to see like what other characters, because I think this is just being made. So I'm sure there'll probably be some other cool elemental characters, not just the fire lady and water boy, obviously.
Right.
Cool to see those characters too, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of marketable toys and stuff coming from.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's another big thing. That's another big thing why they make these as well. They go, let's make some cute characters that we can pump out toys.
Yep. The toys, man. That's what.
Like. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, I feel like that's almost like 60% of the reason he was made. We can market a Yoda with big ass eyes. Bet. Write it into the script.
I don't know if it was necessarily why, but it was definitely the reason why he stayed.
It was hammered in because guess what? We didn't get his name right off the bat. They just wanted to call him Baby Yoda for a while. Yeah. They're like, oh no, let's let them have that, so people just think it's Yoda for a little bit. And then once it started getting called Grogu, people were like, they stopped calling it Baby Yoda. And then I saw like the dip was like it just kind of went like this. The hype for Baby Yoda was like this, and then once it got named Grogu, it was like. It
kind of just hung there because
it's like, okay, cool.
I think it was a great way to get people back into Star Wars too. Like I was talking about earlier with that weird phase that they're in right now. It's hard to like really make good things.
Well, people in, because that dynamic between him and Mando is just
because you think about it with Marvel, you have stuff that when you like, let's just say, you know, you're married or whatever, and like us nerds, when we're married, if we're like with someone, typically they aren't as into it like as some people. They might be, but a good majority of like couples and stuff like that, when they sit there and they watch a Marvel movie, the other one of them is not going to enjoy it because it's superhero. And so when Marvel starts targeting, like, they have all like getting really ripped people to like play different characters, or they do different things to try to bring in non-Marvel people, and I feel like Star Wars had to do that, and that was Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda brought in, I know people from high school that probably bullied nerdy people, and they sit there and go and watch Star Wars because of Baby Yoda, and I'm like, hey,
it's like it's slowly getting like to a minion level where like there's old people who know who Baby Yoda is, and it's like, whoa.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, no.
But it's just gotten that level of adorableness, and he's just there.
So if we want to, we can kind of get into the trailers there for the.
That sounds good about me. That's
first
about
three.
it. That is it about all that news. Yeah, it is. Just wanna make sure.
Not a super ton of news for the stuff that like.
No, and like the actual stuff, because there was, like I mentioned, Inside Out 2. There was not that much stuff that really we care about. Came out of the Disney Pixar side.
Yeah.
The few things I wrote down were things that we wanted to I wanted to talk about at least. That were
And
little,
I mean,
fun.
honestly, those were the only ones I really knew about, anyways. That came out on D23.
Yeah.
So
Said it was
All
kind
right.
of. We got news, but it was kind of like didn't feel that big of a weekend.
yeah, especially for like if anything, it was just more Marvel based. So I don't know, but I mean, yeah, we can get into the trailers. We can start off with. I mean, I have them all three pulled up, so we can go ahead and start with all three. Let me get the music paused, and then I think I should just be able to switch to the React side. So the first one's Little Mermaid. I think all the audio should be right. I believe.
Yeah, this works for the first time.
Yeah. So like I said, Little Mermaid's this first one.
Out of the sea, wish I could be part of that world.
Okay. So do we want to like talk about each one afterwards, or
Yeah,
I guess we never really agreed on that.
It.
What's
We
that?
could talk about after we watch it.
After we
sort of
watch
thing.
all three, or like do you just after
No,
each
just
one?
after we watch it, like now. sort of
Okay.
thing.
All right, because
Spread
I
'em
was just I'll just switch. I was gonna switch scenes back and forth just to do it.
That
So
works.
I mean, that was Little Mermaid. Obviously, if you're if you're watching this, you probably can point out something like there's obviously drama already about it. I mean, watching that trailer, and you know one thing that's different than the other. There's a lot of drama already going on about it.
That's just the internet nowadays, though.
Right. I don't necessarily per se want to touch on it or anything like that because honestly, I don't really care what Disney's doing.
I don't either.
They're doing them and they're making characters how they want to make characters, and I'll probably watch it either way, for the most part.
My
And-
thing is if the actress can sing, that's all I want, and she obviously
Mm-hmm.
can.
Right. And
Because-
if you can make a good movie, you can make a good movie. That's kind of where I'm at. And it's a remake, so you can do whatever you want in a remake. I mean, honestly.
I'm excited for it because I've seen the leaked footage of the whole song on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And holy shit, her vocals are. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
like, you
Well,
hear him
because
a-
she's not
you
an
hear him a little bit
actress.
in that clip. You hear him a little bit in that clip, but the whole 30-second clip I heard, I was like, oh my goodness, like this soundtrack is gonna be. I might want this soundtrack on loop when it comes out because.
Oh, yeah.
damn.
I'm ready. I'm ready for Under the Sea. I can't wait for that to be live action.
My first thought after I watched it was I cannot wait to see Sebastian in live action. I just need to.
Ariel, listen to me. The human world is a crazy place.
That's all I need to hear. and
Who do you think would be a good voice actor for Sebastian?
Oh, I don't even know, bro.
I know. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I don't really know like a ton of like, because it's definitely like a Jamaican type accent.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Which they
really
could also
know-
change because it's a remake. It could be just.
What
Yo, if it's Snoop Dogg, it's just Snoop Dogg. That would be
It's just Snoop
amazing.
Dogg. What if
Sebastian
they brought?
is Snoop Dogg.
I know that he's doing his own things right now, so it's not likely. I don't even know if they don't have it confirmed or anything, do they? On who's doing it? I don't think so.
Fucking I know. I think the only cast they have confirmed for Little Mermaid is her.
Okay, so if Sebastian, what if they did The Rock? Because I don't know if you've seen Moana.
have. But
he was really good at.
are you actually gonna ask me if I've seen Moana? That was
Hey.
that was like Frozen level big, bro.
I
How
know.
Am I not gonna see that?
It took me a while to see it, so I was just wondering. But
Okay.
how he played him in Moana, I thought was like
I could see that,
amazing.
yeah.
But and I can see him. I can see him pulling off a good Sebastian. I think.
I think I would still want the accent, but they
Mhm.
might get rid of that just because it's also stereotypical. But
Yeah.
that's fine. Like I want that. That's Sebastian. Like,
Mhm.
he's supposed to be a Jamaican little. What is he? A lobster or crab? He's a lobster.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure
I think
he's a lobster.
I don't remember honestly.
I don't either.
but
But I'm excited for that. That was my
Mhm.
first thought. I was like, I can't wait for Sebastian.
yeah, and so like because we we talked about Mufasa and all that, and like those remakes, not remakes, but those live action, we're just like kind of like we don't really know why. But then you get to Little Mermaid, and it's like one of those things. It hasn't been touched. Nothing's really been done with the Little Mermaid, from what I understand. It was just a Little Mermaid, and boom.
There was Little Mermaid, and they made the second one. They didn't make
Yeah.
the second one where she had like a daughter and stuff.
But
yeah,
like other than that, it hasn't been
Disney
touched.
hasn't done much with it since then, yeah. And
Mhm.
honestly, like this is almost going back completely on what I said, but like this is like one of those movies that would want a live action remake just because it's
Actually-
kind of a cool story.
I take that back. They have touched Little Mermaid. She was in Once Upon a Time. Ariel was in Once Upon a Time.
And if we're getting that technical, she was in Ralph Breaks the Internet too. So
Yeah. Well, and the person who
all the princesses were.
portrayed her, I'm looking it up right now so I don't get it wrong. It was Joanna Garcia.
I know that name.
Yeah, so she, my God,
I'll
and
look
I'm
that
so
up
bad
now.
at actresses now and everything. But she was in Reba. I don't know if you ever saw Reba.
Of course, I've seen Reba.
So she was Cheyenne.
I don't know that name off by heart.
Like I'm talking here. I'm like the fact that I know like Reba and the characters in Reba. I'm like there's
Okay,
there's
yeah,
a few
I
there.
I know who she is. Yeah, I just Google her.
Yeah, she's in movies and
She's in a bunch of stuff.
she actually portrayed Ariel like really well, in Once Upon a Time. But so other than Once Upon a Time though, and Wreck-It Ralph, she hasn't. I don't really know Ariel really being like used or Little Mermaid
Yeah.
at all being used, and
That's
so
exciting.
that's the kind of I think for me personally, that's the
'Cause
live action remakes that I want to
The
see.
Lion King has had a bunch of stuff, hasn't it?
Right,
Like
that
the live action, and then it also had, it's like 1.5 spin-offs that they made those movies.
Oh, yeah,
like 2.5
yeah.
or whatever they made. Like,
Yeah.
there's a decent amount of that stuff.
because when you start thinking like Disney and like especially during the princess line of stuff, like Cinderella's been touched.
They're
like,
making. Well,
they've done
that's
so
like-
much.
They're going down the list.
Yeah,
Like, they're done with Cinderella now, but they're making a Snow White live action now too. They're just like slowly going
that's
down
what
the
Once
list
Upon
of,
a Time was.
Is that what it started as?
That's literally
guess
like
the name,
Snow
yeah.
White. Yeah,
It started as Snow White. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
that literally
What's,
the
like,
story
what's the
of Snow
premise
White
of that?
is basic. Okay, so the main protagonist stumbles upon a city,
town?
yeah, a town where all of them are Disney characters, and basically they don't have any memory, and like different things happen. Like time doesn't really pass the same. Nobody knows about this town. Nobody can enter the town for some reason, and it kind of just lives in its own thing. So,
I have to watch this eventually.
it was pretty good. So the main protagonist is actually Snow White's kid.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So Snow White and Prince Charming have a kid, and she somehow leaves this place and grows up completely fine, but everything like that. I think she becomes like a PI, like a personal investigator, and so that she ends up stumbling upon town. I can't remember how, but then the whole entire goal is the mayor is the antagonist of Snow White. I don't know why I can't remember the name now.
The evil
But
witch.
yeah,
or
the evil
whatever.
witch. Yeah. So she's the
Melissa
mayor
Finn
of the
or
town.
whatever it's called, whatever her name is,
Maleficent?
That one. Yeah, that one.
Maleficent's different,
Oh wait, yeah, it is. I'm dumb.
but she ends up in the show too.
Oh, that's Sleeping Beauty.
But yeah, so Cinderella's in the show, like ends up being in that show. every like almost every Disney character you can think of ends up appearing in that show in some form. Like I think even Pinocchio was in it at one point. Like, yeah, they
That's
pulled from
awesome.
everywhere, and it's an ABC show, weekly show, so of course it has its cringe to it. But overall, like really good show in my opinion.
With all the Disney references you want, probably.
Right, Robin Hood even shows up in it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a bunch of Disney references, and it's mainly about Snow White and their kid, because they don't even remember their kid. They don't even remember having a kid when
Oh, wow.
because everything that happened there, they have no idea about. But there's like a portal that Ariel can actually traverse back to their main world, like the fantasy land, basically.
I might have to watch it.
It's one of those shows that like didn't get a lot of popularity just because it was an ABC
I've always
show.
heard about it, and I think it was on like Netflix at one time, like in Canada.
Yeah, it was, but now it's on Disney Plus. So they moved it to Disney Plus.
I've always seen it around, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend it. But I mean,
Oh yeah.
like going back to like what we were saying. Other than that, Ariel, I want to see them make live action movies about Disney characters that haven't really been done in other ways. Like
Yeah.
Cinderella has been done in so many different
Way
ways.
too many times.
I mean,
way too many times.
And that's what I like so much about Beauty and the Beast. I actually like that live action remake.
Honestly, I like that one too.
It's these ones where it's like it hasn't been done so much because you know it's not just like a money grab. They're doing this just to remake a character for live action, and I think I like that kind of feeling more than just like the, oh well, we made a live action of this movie that has 20 other different parts.
Wasn't Beauty and the Beast one of like the first ones they made? Yeah, live
I'm
action
pretty sure.
remakes. Yeah, I remember when I watched that, I was actually happy with it. 'Cause they had all the music and everything in it too, and I was like, yeah.
Right. And I mean, even when they remade Aladdin,
And Ewan McGregor was the candlestick in the
Oh,
live action remake,
yeah.
so like, how can you not like that?
right. Well, and then with Aladdin,
That's true. I loved Aladdin as well. Will Smith as the genie, and like
Right.
him, like, because I always watch interviews and stuff. Him talking about doing the genie and like respecting Robin Williams was amazing. He's like, I wanted to do him respect, but not try to be him. And I was like, that's exactly what you need to hear.
Right,
Like-
because he even tweeted that out at one point too. Because that was the one point that had me turn for the Aladdin movie, was like, and actually wanted to see it, was when Will Smith tweeted out, "You guys, I just want you guys to understand. I know I'm not Will Smith. Will Smith was legendary, or not Will Smith. Robin Williams. Robin Williams was legendary. So yeah, Will Smith said that Robin Williams is legendary, and he's not going to try to be him, like you said, like he said in the interview. He said that I'm going to try to live up to him as much as I can, but I mean, the facts are I am not going to be the original genie. And
Yeah.
when he did that, I kind of said that, I was like, okay, well, that I'm more inclined to watch the movie now that the actor has come out and said that he's not going to, try to be Robin Williams. So
I really liked that live action. I thought his genie was really good too. You'll never ever beat Robin Williams, because his is amazing. Just the impressions and everything. Just being Robin Williams is just ugh. But I liked it because he had the human aspect to him. That's what I liked.
Yeah.
Like seeing the human side of the genie. You didn't see it too much in the animated movies.
I'm
But in
gonna
this, you really
I'm
got
gonna
to see
say
it.
this, and it's a hot take to some people, but I prefer the remade music versus the original Aladdin. So, a majority of them.
I'd have to listen to both of them side by side, but I do. Will Smith's "I never had a friend"
Yeah.
slaps so hard.
It does, and that's why I like the newer one probably majority better. That's why.
That slap. And Arabian Nights by him also does really slap. But
Right.
I'd have to probably listen to them side by side. But I do have to.
And- oh my
I think
God.
about that, and I'm like, yeah, I've listened to the new soundtrack a bit actually.
Yeah, and then when they entered when he was Prince, and I was like Prince Ali, that song, he does it so well, and they
I know
film
what I'm
it so
listening to
well.
after. I know what I'm
Right?
listening to after the podcast now.
Because I just recently rewatched that. But going in the theme of live action ones, I think that ones that they haven't really done too much outside of the original, I think is what hits better.
That's
and
why I'm excited for Hercules, because Hercules,
Yeah.
Disney Hercules hasn't been touched since that like
Mhm.
animated movie. Like doing that whole with Hades and that kind of storyline hasn't been touched. Like Megra and everything hasn't been around since that first movie. So I'm excited to see that come back. And
Right.
I can't wait to see Hades in live action because he better look badass in live action. oh.
Yeah, no,
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
The kind of stuff that hasn't been touched is what should be touched for live action.
right, because it's fresh.
Mm.
You can't really sit there and say, well, this has been done so many times already. Like you don't have that excuse anymore. Now it's just like that.
Because even like the Sleeping Beauty trope's been done a lot. Because like it's not
Mhm.
called Sleeping Beauty, but there's been so many plot lines where she passes out and can't wake up until like a lover wakes her up or whatever. And it's just,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
we don't need that. Like that's Sleeping Beauty. That's the whole
Exactly.
Cinderella line. Like there's so many movies that aren't called like Cinderella, but there's that whole they have the evil godmother right off the bat and everything, and it's just that plot line, but it's not called Cinderella. It's just like, oh, get it out of here. Sorry, that was.
I mean, even if you want to say it's been called Cinderella, because Disney made like Disney Channel movies for Cinderella, and the Not So Cinderella story,
Yeah.
all those movies that were made based off of Cinderella. I don't know. I think it just works better if it hasn't been, touched a lot. So
Yeah. You don't know the whole story when you're gonna go
Right.
watch it again.
all right,
I think that's about it for that.
yeah. So the next one we got is the Disenchanted. I actually haven't seen this trailer. I didn't see it. So this is actually my first reaction to this one. So I also haven't seen the first one either. So
This will be an interesting reaction.
right, I'm gonna be like, huh, interesting. I've always meant to. I just haven't gotten to it. So here we go.
I know that change can be scary, but it can also be exciting.
If I learned anything from meeting Princess on a billboard, is that sometimes you just have to take a leap.
Let's start our new life. Pretty soon, this whole place will feel like home, you'll see. It's all part of the adventure.
That's not an adventure, that's a landfill.
A land filled with adventure. Nancy Edward!
Robert! Congratulations!
Oh, it's what they call a fixer-upper.
Yes, once your peasants have dug out the moat and added a turret and a balcony from which you can sing. I see it now.
Okay. Melvina, Monroe, I would have sold you this house, but I deal in slightly more upscale homes.
In Andalasia, the hardest part of life is finding your happily ever after. This world's very different.
If this world is not to your liking, then you must change it.
I wish. I wish.
Jumpin' jelly stick. Wait, how am I talking?
I wish. I wish for a fairy tale
100%
like
sure
this
that's
all
Steve
come true.
Buscemi, by the way.
Or terribly right.
At the last stroke of 12, nothing will be as it was before.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Giselle, what have you done?
That's wicked.
Wicked good.
Interesting. So that's not gonna hit theaters.
I mute my mic so I don't accidentally say something. But you want me to give you context?
So I have kind of the context. I mean, obviously, the one thing that got me at the beginning was the actor who's the guy. I don't even. I'm so bad at this when it comes to like old Disney and everything, because the stuff I've watched I know the story, I know what happens. Do I remember the character names? No. Do I know the main character? Yeah. But like with Cinderella with the prince guy,
Yeah.
that casting is kind of funny because I watched Grey's Anatomy, and so I mean Derek Shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I wasn't like 100% sure, but I'm pretty. When I watched it, I remembered it was him because when I was a kid, I didn't know who Grey's Anatomy was. So rewatching this trailer, I was like, that's him. I haven't watched a lot of Grey's, but I know about it.
Right.
But
okay, go ahead. Run with it.
You haven't watched the first movie, right?
Nope.
So the first movie, the main girl, who's Amy Adams, that's like the actress, the ginger lady. She is a princess in like a straight up Disney animated world, and she finds this well that brings her to like live action. I think it's New York in the first movie. I haven't seen in a while.
Okay.
But she meets that guy, and like basically it's a plot line of her falling in love with that guy in live action when she already had a prince like set up in her animated world, and her deciding what she has, like where she wants to stay. And I think I haven't seen it in a while. I think there's like the plot line of she has to decide by 12, like it's one of those Disney things as well.
Okay.
But she does obviously stay because of this movie and stuff by the end of it.
Right.
And I think there was an evil witch in the first one as well. Just it was one of those like Disney plot lines, like Cinderella almost, but just basically bringing her to life. It was basically that. It was like Cinderella in the animated world, and then you just suck her from the animated world and plop her in live action, and she has to deal with it almost.
Oh.
Basically what it is. And she finds a new lover in the live action world. Because the guy that you see pop up in the well in this, like the magic and the well, that was her prince in the first one that she was with. But
okay,
he's with a new girl and shit in this one, obviously. But this one I'm excited for because she's been in the real world for, I think they actually say, like from when that last movie came out, which is like I think 10 years over now or something like that.
I looked up Enchanted, and that came out in 2007.
Yep, so that's
so 15 years.
Yeah, oh my goodness. So I think they do say like it's been that long. So she's grown up and stuff, obviously in this trailer. Her kids have, but it's just gonna be a plot line of I guess she doesn't want and everything's not the way she wants to be now, which makes sense because it's the real world and not a fantasy world.
Yeah, so not gonna lie, literally on that intro from someone who's never watched it before, I literally got this kind of like, granted because I haven't seen Enchanted, but I had this whole like it's Cinderella again. Like and that's what I said with it. The first movie is basically that you basically take Cinderella out of her animated movie and you drop her into the real world, and that's what it feels like. It's very, very Disney like stereotype princess, like very. Yeah, and I mean, just the whole singing to animals. I'm just like, okay, Cinderella.
Oh, I said I'm pretty sure that chipmunk is Steve Buscemi, and I'm excited for that because I love when he just pops up out of nowhere.
Right. So yeah, I mean, that'll be cool.
I guess you wouldn't say excited, but I'm just more or less wanting to watch it because I did watch the original when it came out however many years ago, and I love that Maya Rudolph is in it because she's hilarious in whatever she's in.
Right. Yeah,
there's a few people in this that I'm like, okay, I'm excited to see them in this.
And so I guess it kind of touches on a couple things that we were saying about earlier. Is like when you make those, because I mean, okay, if you just want to generalize it, like with Cinderella, you can almost say Cinderella live action, like from what I'm getting, like at least a little bit of it.
And it is almost leaning into that even more in the second one because I didn't even say that, but her getting like her wishes or whatever that they show at the end is slowly turning her into the evil stepmom, and that's what I'm excited to see. Yeah, but that too, and it literally shows the clock at the end of the trailer too. But I think it's cool that she's gonna be slowly turning into like the evil stepmom.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see because she's not like that at all. Really, she's the cheerful, happy princess. To see that slowly turn, and obviously it's gonna be a Disney movie, so she'll probably not be evil by the end of it. She'll probably find out how to fix the spell or whatever. But
yeah,
I'm excited for it because I liked the first one. The first one was pretty cool because I think it was like one of those first movies where they did mix like the actual like classic Disney animation with live action, and it like I think it swapped back and forth a few times during that movie, and I'm sure it will in this one too.
Yeah, so I mean, but like when you take that and you know if you do just like generalize it as Cinderella, with having those actresses and actors that like provide that bit of comedic relief to it, it's like one of those things. It's like we were saying earlier with having that little kid feel. It's like when you watch it, you want to feel like a kid again. It's a fantasy land. You want to feel like a kid.
That's what I hate about a bunch of arguments saying that a lot of people want stuff too real now. I'm like, why? why do you want it to be realistic? Like
Right.
the real world sucks ass. Like I want to feel happy and energetic while watching something.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the scenario, obviously, but like,
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't. When I go to watch this, I just want to feel like a kid again.
yeah, that's why cartoons again are slapping again as an adult. I'm like, bro, this shit is awesome. No wonder why I liked it as a kid.
I'm literally rewatching Ben 10, and I'm like, now I understand why I'm as nerdy as I am. Ben 10 literally was like the start of it for me.
I don't know what started it for me. My brain's too much of an ADHD cycle to know.
Yeah. And I honestly didn't even realize it till I started watching Ben 10 again. I'm like, this probably would have started it. I was watching it every day when it came on Cartoon Network, but I mean, I think it'll be good. I'll probably watch and chin at some time, and because it should be on Disney Plus, I don't see why it wouldn't be.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure it is.
hell,
I think I've
Disenchanted
I might have
is-
watched it. I think I might have watched it on Disney Plus when I had my subscription. I think actually. Enchanted.
Well, Disenchanted is gonna just be streamed to Disney Plus. It's not even gonna hit theaters. It says.
Oh, sweet. Then yeah, it'll probably be on there. If it's not on there, it'll be on there when that's on there.
Yeah, right.
People
So,
will watch it.
I'll probably end up watching it at some point. But no, I mean, it's cool. It's one of those, sequels where it's like 15 years later, who asked?
But it's here.
Yeah, Disney's doing Disney, man.
I said that's what it is. They spin a wheel. I say that's what happens. It's literally what happens. They spin a wheel and they go, okay, this is what we're making now. Cool.
They probably have a project list of like, and they're probably watching some type of interest level for stuff and being like,
there is way like hardcore Disney adults.
Yeah.
Which we definitely aren't.
Right.
So I'm sure they're in those communities asking what they want, because I'm sure there's Disney adults that wanted this like for years.
They're either asking them or they're going like, okay, once we hit, like, let's just say if this group was 13 when this movie came out, now they're 40 and this one comes out, let's make a movie then. I wonder if they have like that kind of scheme. Obviously not that wide of a gap, but like for us with the newest Toy Story, that was teenagers. That was actually like young adult like type of movie. The theme was changed and it was more geared towards us.
It wasn't like very kiddish Toy Story
right
at all.
And so they definitely geared
Even
it more
Toy Story
towards
3. Toy Story 3 was more adult than the first two as well.
And they recognize that the audience that is probably going to watch it wasn't.
How do you say that? That kind of happens with Incredibles 2 as well.
Yeah.
But Incredibles 2 is a lot more. It's just action. Because they know that's what people would want to watch at this point.
So I'm wondering what these like sequels and remakes, if they're like saying that if this target audience was this old, now they're this old, and let's make a movie now. If they have
that's
that.
probably what's in their mind. Because in this movie, I hope there's some meta jokes about this being done a bajillion times or something. That'd be hilarious.
Right.
Like that
or
trope
like
being done, or like the evil
that's too
mom
cliche.
trope being done a bunch of times or something. Like that would be awesome.
Like, oh, you're being evil, or like you're doing this. That's so cliche, or like something like that.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But I mean, I don't really have.
About that.
Yeah, I don't really have much about that either. All right. So the next trailer we got is the Percy Jackson trailer.
I'm so excited. It's not even that long of a trailer, but just the show.
A lot of people got because it's a show, it's not a movie. So that I think is gonna hit different for some people. But let's go ahead and watch it. And there we go.
Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It's scary. Most of the time, it gets you killed. If you think you might be one of us, my advice is turn away while you still can. Believe whatever lie your mom or dad told you about your birth. Try to live a normal life. Because once you know what you are, they'll sense it too. And they'll come for you. Don't say I didn't warn you.
So I'm gonna say this about Percy Jackson as well. I wasn't really into Percy Jackson I'd probably be a lot more into them now because now I'm even more into like ancient Greek mythology and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when like watching that trailer and seeing them in like Spartan armor, I'm just like, after
can't
just playing
wait, bro.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, oh,
I can't wait. Like I didn't read the books that much because I don't like to read. I'm one of those kids that never like to read.
me either.
Like, probably now with Audible, I'd probably sit through them. But like I would never like to read as a kid. So like there was graphic novels and stuff for Lightning Thief and stuff, and the movies when they came out. But the first 2 movies they made for Percy Jackson, I fell in love with. Like just in like the same way I love Greek mythology so much. That's why I love Hercules. Like,
Right.
I just love that mythology so much. So for them to be making the show and for him to be that young, like they're using Walker. What was it? Walker Scobell? Is that how you say his name? I think.
I don't remember. We literally looked this up.
Yeah, whatever.
Not too long ago, but
him being that young, they can just keep going, and that's what I'm so excited for. My hot take for this, and I've said it in the other Discord I was in, is that this has the potential to be better than Harry Potter. If they have the budget and they keep it going, it has the potential to be better than Harry Potter, straight up. And I'll die on that hill, because the story and mythology they have with Percy Jackson,
God, people are gonna hate me, like especially when they find out I haven't seen Harry Potter. So
not one single movie.
Not a single one. I probably have seen one of them, but like, hey,
putting it everywhere.
That's like, it's one of those things where,
hey, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so
yeah,
people could come at me for that.
as a kid, I don't know. I wasn't interested in that as a kid, and so as I grew older, I did end up getting a developed interest, but like, I'm still not super interested in like magic and stuff. Is it something cool? Yeah. Will I watch them all like right now if I really wanted to, or like if I had some time to go and watch the whole entire Harry Potter series? Of course. But like, is it on that one of those things where I need to watch it? No, not for me at least. I know it's very popular, but like, if they continue this, like, and they actually do really well with this and people love it, I think it has a good chance to be a really good.
I just really hope it's not Disney-ified. I really hope it's not.
Well, there was something interesting I saw at the end of this. I don't know if they've been adding this forever. I haven't really. This is the first time I'm noticing it. It might just be, but at the very bottom where it says Disney Plus or whatever like that, it says must be 18 plus to subscribe. I don't know if that's been there a while, but if I'm right, that wasn't always the case.
I think that's just because they have 18 plus content on there now.
Right, and I know, and so the fact that they're adding that to whatever.
I'm gonna have to Google it. I think. Oh, I'm trying to see in my head. I think this might have been one of the shows that is confirmed to be like TV, like one of the, like not 13, but the next one.
Like TV 14.
Yeah, so it's like a little bit darker. I think this was one of them.
Yeah.
I know there's been a few that Disney are making that they are going back up with that, because I think that's Daredevil is one of them too that they confirmed that are like, yeah, it's gonna be the TV 14 thing.
Right. Well, and also if they
excited.
ever get Deadpool on Disney Plus.
Deadpool 3 is gonna be 100% 18 plus.
Yeah.
Because they said that it's gonna be still fit with the first 2, so
It's still gonna be rated R. So.
yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'll probably have to go and rewatch or watch Percy Jackson and everything again, and really like actually get into it, because I don't know. Did they say if this is supposed to tie in at all or not?
What, with the movies?
Like with the old stuff?
No, it'll most definitely be a brand new reboot. It won't tie in.
Or like at least like some type of connection.
It'll probably be almost the same plot as the first 2 movies, just remade.
Gotcha.
Most likely, but it's not gonna be like a pickup from those movies for sure.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be the first 2 movies. Like the first movie might even be like the whole first season. Like they might drag it out, which that'd be awesome. Huh?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
and that's why my theory of it being better than Harry Potter. How many Percy Jackson books are there, like actually written? Let me see.
I have no
But
idea.
if they do like a season per book, bro, you know how awesome that'd be? That's what friggin' Harry Potter should do. They should remake Harry Potter and just have a season per book. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 Percy Jackson books. So they have 7 seasons they could do. You know how crazy that would be? Of 7 seasons, and he would grow up with those seasons.
Right.
So by the 7th season, he'd be like adult Percy Jackson, whipping out friggin' lightning bolts and shit. Well, I guess the first one's Lightning Thief. He'd be using water.
Oh. Yeah.
Poseidon's kid.
I think if they do it well, and I don't know. I think them having Marvel and stuff under Disney can really help this. And the fact
that's
of
I think that's one of the things I saw on TikTok. Somebody say they're like, I want this to be the new big universe, and I was like, I agree with that. I like it'll be one show, but I want it to be like the next big thing I can get like involved, like indulged with. That's kind of like what I want with Ring of Powers too, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But like that's what I want this for. I want like for them to be like, yeah, we are gonna make this 7 books, so strap in for that story, and I'll be like, oh, let's go.
Yeah,
there's nothing like that right now, really. That I'm like, I know Stranger Things is about to end, Umbrella Academy is about to end. There's nothing new that's coming out that I'm like, I'm ready for the next 6 years to watch this.
See, and that
House of Dragon or whatever could be.
Well, and so to kind of transition to what we're talking about next, I think that's Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think it is. It has to be. Like, I mean, yes, you have like Kang and everything going on with Marvel, but like when it comes to like a universe, I mean, Star Wars is already there, but if you can create like a sub universe in Star Wars, because the Skywalker saga is the only Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And so if we start going away from that,
yeah.
right? And so if you start fading away from that, then that I think is where you can start getting like the next, like 6 years, like you said.
There's like infinite possibilities of Star Wars, just because of the whole tagline of it being in a galaxy far, far away. They can make up so much stuff that's just there.
No, and that's why it's such a great universe too.
And the timeline too, they can just be like, oh, here's something even farther in the future. Have fun.
Right. And so I don't know if that was really all you wanted to talk about with Percy Jackson, because there's not a ton revealed in that trailer besides actor and Camp Half-Blood.
Yeah, and just talking about being hyped for it.
Yeah.
That was the teaser trailer too, so I'm sure in a few months we'll get a full trailer.
And the actor is the same person who did the kid in the Adam Project. If you guys haven't watched the Adam Project, I highly recommend watching the Adam Project. I liked it a lot.
That had a lot of big people in Mark Ruffalo, Ryan Reynolds, and him. That's a pretty good trio right there.
Because wasn't it a passion project for Ryan Reynolds?
I'm not sure, but I remember
it seemed like it at least.
the guy who directed it was the same guy who worked on Free Guy with him, because they're doing a triple whammy. They did Free Guy, they did Adam Project, and now the same director's working on Deadpool 3.
Okay.
So when I heard that, I was like, Deadpool 3 is gonna be killer. Free Guy was amazing, and so was Adam Project. So Deadpool 3 is gonna be amazing. And they said that they're not pulling a Disney-fying with them. They're just gonna let them make Deadpool 3.
Thank
God. So that's gonna be great.
It's gonna, that's definitely gonna be great.
Yes.
And so I mean, that's all we got for Percy Jackson. Then we can kind of start digging deep into Star Wars for a little bit here. 3 trailers dropped for that. You got Tales of the Jedi, Andor, and then the Mando season 3. I'm a Clone Wars bias, so I'm gonna say this first before we get into those. Andor, I'm okay. Like, I'm one of the, I don't know. I can't wait to, obviously Star Wars, so I can't wait. But like, Andor is probably my least anticipated out of all of them, just because that side of the Star Wars universe, I'm like meh on. We haven't seen a lot of it. It's more like the grungy-ish, like dark, like dirty type of Star Wars, and we just knew it always existed. They just never got into it. Because I'm more of, like Clone Wars type of guy. So that's why when it comes to like Tales of the Lost Jedi and Mando, I like that, because all those characters, all that derives from Clone Wars Rebels. all that, basically the kid stuff I grew up on. So I'm a little biased, but I still think it looks good.
I'm almost the opposite. Like, I'm excited for Andor because I don't know a lot about Star Wars, and I see the trailer and I go, this looks fucking cool.
Right. And so then that circle back to earlier when I'm talking about they were in that weird phase of trying to figure out what hits. That's what they're doing. They're doing like this, and it's starting to get people back into Star Wars. That's what they're doing. It's just, hey, we know we fucked up with 7, 8, and 9. But we're trying to get better, and we're actually doing stuff that you guys want.
Saying Rey was a Skywalker is something we want to forget.
Let's put out some other stuff.
I think I rewatched episode 9 recently, and I actually didn't think it was super bad. Like after rewatching it, but it's not a good, like go to theaters expecting Star Wars type movie. It's one of those, if you rewatch it and you understand what happened and that it was basically 2 movies in one.
I still don't fully understand how Palpatine's back. He's just like, I cloned myself. Epic win.
I mean, he didn't clone himself. He's just like literally alive still.
Oh, was it? I thought he was cloned.
No, that wasn't a Palpatine clone. He's just like still alive, but he was able to keep himself alive through the Force. Because if you think back to episode 3, when he's discussing Darth Plagueis about learning how to keep himself alive, he probably unlocked that secret, and that's probably what they just made everyone assume, is that Palpatine's back. He learned how to live because he was the one who killed. The way it was that he was Darth Plagueis' apprentice, so he's the one who killed Darth Plagueis.
Okay.
And so that whole line, and that's how I think he was still alive. I think that's what they said also, like after the fact or whatever, because with Rian Johnson fucking up episode 8, I feel bad for Abrams, because Abrams, if he directed all 3, that trilogy would have been great. I'm saying that right now. If he had the chance to do all 3, Star Wars would not have to they would not be in the spot they're in right now. We probably would have gotten the content we're getting right now 2 years ago. Honestly, I would say that, because they probably just would have had that adrenaline rush of like producing mass content like Disney is, or like Marvel is doing right now, after Endgame. And so I don't know. That's my personal opinion. I think I blame everything on Rian Johnson in episode 8. So
was he the guy? There was one of the people who did new movies that I saw. They even like regret making it. I saw recently when they were like, I'm so upset that that's what happened. I forget which one. I saw something recently. I forget if it was 8 or 9. I mean, somebody say it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Rian Johnson, because Rian Johnson didn't want to make the movie, or whatever, really? Or either it wasn't, or either he didn't want to make the movie, or he just didn't want to follow the script of what Disney gave him, and like kind of what they wanted him to do with it, and the idea of what they wanted to do for episode 8. So he kind of just went his own way, and I was like, like, I mean, there's this one point one of my friends likes to make where Leia walks right past Chewie to go hug Ray. How do I say Reg?
Reg.
Right. That's the clone in me, because the Clone Wars in me, because all the troopers, when they call the Bad Batch, the Bad Batch calls the regular clone troopers Regs. But anyways, she walks directly past Chewie and goes straight to Ray, and it's like, you don't think she'd hug Chewie first? Like,
yeah. Like
what? Anyways, that was I think that was episode 8. But that, episode 8 was a shit show. Let's go ahead and get into the Andor trailer before I start like ranting on and on about the new trilogy of stuff. All right, so yeah, guys, this is the Andor trailer.
Spies, saboteurs, assassins. We've all done terrible things on behalf of the rebellion. Cassian Andor. Don't matter what you tell me or tell yourself. You'll ultimately die fighting these bastards. Wouldn't you rather give it all at once to something real?
We've chosen a side. We're fighting against the dark.
There is an organized rebel effort. Drill down and get a hunt started.
You realize what you set in motion? people will suffer.
Time has come to force their hand.
At what cost?
Everything!
Every day we wait, they get stronger.
Let's take them by surprise.
For the greater good,
Call it what you will.
let's call it war.
People are standing up. They're afraid. Right now, they're afraid.
Star Wars Andor, 3-episode premiere, streaming September 21st.
I accidentally clicked on the Mando trailer right after that. But also, I want to point out that did not have the 18 plus on underneath on the Disney Plus thing. That's why it stood out to me.
Oops, I need to unmute myself.
But that's why it stood out to me, was that
I love-
it did it on Percy Jackson and not anything
I
else.
love how basic that announcer voice was at the end. That's like the basic, like the most basic announcer voice like ever. Star
Right.
Wars Andor, three episode event. That's like, bro.
And honestly, I'm not that upset about it because, I mean, it's an announcement thing and nothing special. It happens. So I'm excited. Obviously, we saw a few familiar faces for like if you've been kind of caught up with Star Wars and kind of notice it, you got Mon Mothma. She's in it, which she's the main one in 4, 5, and 6 for the Rebellion. She's the one in the white dress and everything. So she's in it. Saw Gerrera's in there. Saw Gerrera is a kind of newer face in the Star Wars universe because he is, I think they use him in Rebels, and then they also use him in you see him at the very beginning of the Star Wars game. Because we're on a podcast, I'm blanking, but it was the Jedi game. Why am I forgetting? I even played it through. But when you play as Cal, you see Saw Gerrera in like the first intro to the game, and so he's a relatively new face, but we know he's like one of the main forces of the rebellion. And for those of you who don't know, this is taking place in between 3 and 4, right before episode 4, because that's when Rogue One took place. Cassian Andor is in Rogue One, so
Yeah, I haven't even really watched Rogue One either.
yeah. And Rogue One, really good movie. The end scene with Darth Vader mowing down rebels.
Seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
The
That's
movie-
a clip I've seen.
the movie was good. And this is based off of one of the characters in there, and kind of showing really the like I was talking about earlier, the grunginess and the dirtiness of the rebellion, how they had to start and all that, how they get to where they are, the little sects of rebellion, sex as in SECTS. And so all of those little groups kind of going together and forming the rebellion that we knew in episode 4, which I think is gonna be interesting. I don't know if they're gonna play into that or if they're just gonna focus on Andor himself and like his role he plays in the rebellion, which it looks like they probably are going to, but we'll see. And I guess that's kind of my problem with Star Wars, is that when you go to make something about the rebellion, it's so hard to, because once you start, you have 30 other stories at least that you can tell.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And to see, since I don't know much about it, I'm just gonna say what our other little point was. The fact that they're already starting season 2 before this first season's out must mean it must be good.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
the people that they've shown it, like the test screeners, must have loved it for them to already be starting season 2.
oh yeah. I mean, I don't doubt it, because
It looks beautiful. Like the trailer, like cinematically, it looks. Oh,
yeah. There's
I
that
can't
one
wait.
scene where they're on the mountain, and just that view. Because Star Wars, the one thing I'm glad that they kind of didn't go away from was the like reality, I guess, of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like even if you talk about Obi-Wan, those scenes where they like while they're in the desert, all that, not a lot of that is like green screen.
Yeah.
And the realistic fact of Star Wars that's just been there forever, like I mean, you think about original trilogy Star Wars, it was, you know, the little miniatures basically they would have on a rope flying the Star Destroyer in the intro. And even like, and all the lightsaber fighting, it's real lightsaber fighting. They train for that. If you guys haven't seen the Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen film of like the back behind the scenes film of them lightsaber fighting, they're great. They're great at it. There's just realistic facts about Star Wars, and that draws it in for a good amount of people. Is that you feel like it's real, and in this case, that's good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and so that's why, and I guess that's why when the whole realistic feeling, and when you start doing the rebellion, like, and the dirtiness and stuff like that, it becomes a little bit too real. And it's like one of those things like, okay, well, and like I said, that may just be me because I'm more into Clone Wars and like all that, which is further away from reality. But that may just be me. Because I know I'll enjoy it. I'll watch it. I'll probably stay up for every episode. I don't care. I'm not sitting here saying it's going to be terrible, don't watch it. I'm sitting here saying that out of all three, that's probably my lesser anticipated one. So
yeah.
So that was Andor. We're getting back into podcast mode.
Yes, sir.
So that was pretty much Andor. I'm excited that it's like one of those things I'm not anticipating as much as the other one, but I'm still excited that they're going that route for other fans.
Soon.
Yeah, yeah. The 21st, it's like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's gonna be pretty hype.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely going to be a good avenue for them to pull in that like older fan base, because I know a lot of that older fan base loved Rogue One. Like, I know my dad and his friends.
I heard a lot of good things about it when it came out.
And for me, I'm like, like I said, I just Clone Wars bias, so I'm like sitting there, I'm like, yeah, it looks like Star Wars, and it looks like the old trilogy, which is why it wasn't as anticipated for me. So, but
makes sense.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Looks like it's gonna be great. I'm excited for it. And hopefully that opens the door for them to make more content in other areas as well. So I'm all for them trying different things, because Star Wars hasn't worked since Clone Wars and Rebels. So, and that was Dave Filoni, by the way, that did all that. So bring him back. Bring Filoni. Yeah, you got Jon Favreau and you got Filoni. Like, come on. We can do something. We can do something with Star Wars, which kind of brings us right into the next stuff. Both Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Let's go.
Because I think Dave Filoni's doing Tales of the Jedi. That's the one I'm gonna start here real quick.
I'm excited for this. Like, them being shorts is kind of, but
yeah, I'm kind of meh on it. But
I'm still excited for the stories that are gonna come.
Oh, man, I've been waiting for a Count Dooku story since I don't even know when. And it being animated is just that much better for me.
Yeah.
So
it fits your style.
Yeah, it fits my style. Count Dooku is one of my favorite characters, and just seeing, and Qui-Gon is also up there as well, and you know, knowing that he was his Padawan, and just that whole storyline behind it, and then Ahsoka being a part of it. Anyways, trailer time. So I'm gonna start it real quick, and here we go.
Everywhere there is life, but you must face death. Honor it. Do not fear it. Jedi. Ahsoka is Jedi.
The best way I can protect you is to teach you how to protect yourself.
Master Dooku.
I want to bring peace and order to the galaxy.
Master, stop!
It is the only way you will truly have victory, my Padawan.
Again. Again.
That's Yaddle at the end, right?
Yes, it's Seattle.
When I first watched it, see, I know a little bit of Star Wars. When I first watched it, I was like, "That's fucking Yaddle. Let's go."
I'm so glad you pointed that out because that was one of the things I was gonna say. I'm like, finally, Yaddle content. We have only time we ever see Yaddle is episode 1.
Yeah, that's like one of the things I've watched on like Yoda Species. I've watched a few videos on that, and that's why I know Yaddle, because we've only seen Yaddle the one time.
I know, and I'm like, I want to see Yaddle. Like, give me. It's such a funny
Yaddle
name.
content.
It's a funny name. It's female Yoda, and like when they talked about Yaddle, they were like, wait, did Yoda reproduce? That's why Grogu exists. Like that whole theory was there for a little bit, I think. But
I do hope we get that's. Oh, let me not talk about that yet. Never mind.
Right.
Continue.
Next trailer. But
yeah.
Okay. I think we get that's the first Inquisitor. I'm pretty sure. So that dynamic is going to be really cool. Showing her training with Anakin, that's going to be really cool because
That's
we
gonna be
initially
exciting.
in the Clone Wars it kind of gave a little bit of a like just normal Padawan training, but it was Anakin this time, so it was like obviously just Anakin-fied. Anified, I guess you can probably say. So when that happened, I was like, okay, well, it's just normal training. But then they get into it and they go through like the whole again. It's like they portray Anakin when he has a Padawan as I just have a Padawan. And that relationship obviously develops to where we already know Anakin's high on his emotions. Like he loves strong, hates even stronger. Like his emotions are amplified because he doesn't know how to handle them. And the fact that they're kind of delving into that with how he trained Ahsoka and saying that the only way that I can protect you is to teach you how to protect yourself. And I like that is just going to be it's going to be so good. They're shorts, but they're going to be so good. They're going to have so much content.
Like, and shorts like could mean like they're probably not going to be as short as the I Am Groot shorts. They'll probably be like 10 to like 15 minutes probably, I would assume.
Right. I feel like they're going to do like there was the anime things that they did.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that's also getting another season. And
I love that they're doing that kind of stuff. Just not even Star Wars alone, because Rick Morty's getting that, but just taking IPs and being like, you know what, anime them.
Yeah, it's like, here, do something, we'll publish it, and we'll see it. Let's see how it does. And that actually ties back into kind of earlier what I was saying. What they're just trying different things, and with Tales of the Jedi, doing an Ahsoka story right before Ahsoka comes out.
That's smart.
That's smart. And then doing the Dooku part is what I'm kind of like interested on, is like what triggered them doing a Count Dooku story, because obviously Ahsoka that's playing him. They're making Ahsoka. They want Ahsoka to be there more. She's become like one of the most loved
It's for the people
characters.
like me. It's for the people like me to watch, to know like where she's coming from before that show comes out.
Yeah, and I think like Ahsoka's become what I personally think Ahsoka probably has one of the, if not the best character arcs in all of Star Wars. That's my personal opinion.
I don't know.
And you gotta watch Clone Wars and Rebels to find that out.
I'm gonna have to. When does her show come out, next year?
Probably. I don't remember.
Okay, I have time. I'm gonna have to watch it before that comes out.
Yeah, I like I said, personally, I think that's probably the best character arc in Star Wars. And also, I guess they're just doing like good story arcs for characters, because the Dooku story arc exists in books. So how he turned and everything. The one part I was interested in is who that is at the beginning when they talk about death, because I don't think that's Padme. That definitely looked like Padme's like funeral procession on I think it was Coruscant in episode 3. But I don't think that's who it is, because I don't remember Dooku's story, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a loved one dying and that's what triggers his downfall. So that's what I'm not sure. It might just be Padme and they just maybe reference it because of Ahsoka. But I don't know. I'm excited. I'm so excited for that. That's
Yeah, it's gonna be fun for me too.
And yeah, I mean, don't know much. It had a lot in it, but not enough to really give away what they're going to go for in the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
Because all we know is that they're just origin stories. So
Yeah.
gonna be origin stories. I trust Jon Favreau and Filoni and Kevin Feige with my life at this point.
Yeah.
Like at least my fandom life, I trust in them. But I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much all I got for that one. I know it's Star Wars, so you're kind of like just taking it as it is.
I'm talking on a phone with a relative right now and going, yep,
yep,
cool.
yep, cool,
yep, yeah,
Nah, I like I said, I like the direction they're going.
Once I watch Clone Wars, I'll be in it.
Oh yeah. And if not, I'll make you be in it. But anyways,
brainwash me.
So next one we got is the Mandalorian season 3 trailer got dropped.
See, this is where I'm hyped.
Right. and see that's the thing. You're hyped about it, and you're like we were saying earlier, that original trilogy. I'm hyped about it because of Clone Wars. So they're finally merging the two and figuring out how to do it. And so I think that it's finally getting there to where they're going to start pumping out more content. But this is Mandalorian season 3 trailer dropped at D23.
This is the one that you saved? You are as its father. A clan of 2. But you have removed your helmet. Then you are a Mandalorian no more.
Your cult fractured our people. Where were you then? Did you think your dad was the only Mandalorian?
All right, kid. Hang on. You ready for an adventure?
Oh,
It looks so good.
I'm so hyped, bro.
And so that area that looks like it's destroyed, I'm pretty sure that's Mandalore, because they basically have domes on Mandalore. And I think that because of the siege of Mandalore, because there's like 2 major plot points like for Mandalore, and one of them was what happened in Clone Wars in the final season, and the second one is the siege of Mandalore. And I'm pretty sure they did it both separate, because the first one is it deals with like Ahsoka and Darth Maul being on Mandalore, and the second one is the Imperial takeover of Mandalore. And that storyline is basically the Imperials just wipe Mandalore, like they just almost glass the whole entire place. It's very, very dark. Granted, this is book canon, so not necessarily canon right now, but they may just pull aspects of that out like they have before. And so seeing that kind of world, I'm very excited for. The Mandalorians have always had like it's very feudal, so I think playing into that is going to be very, very good. I don't know what your like excited to see or anything like that out of it. But
well, obviously I'm excited to see our boy Grogu.
Mhm.
I gotta be that generic. I'm excited to see what he has to deal with about taking his helmet off, because like that was just like brought up fully at the end of Boba Fett, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because
So I'm excited to see that.
Well, his clan is if I'm right, is like the only clan that cares about taking their helmet off. So that's one of the things. Is like his whole growing up, he thinks he's not a true Mandalorian anymore because he took his helmet off and broke that tradition, and so now he has to go through the trials of what his clan deem. I don't exactly know. They haven't really said, but basically go through some trials to get his honor back. Fucking
Become a Mandalorian, basically.
Yeah, Zuko arc essentially.
I understand that completely.
Yeah, and that's just like I don't know, because Bo-Katan's gonna be obviously in the mix. Last time we saw, I'm wondering if he's gonna try to kill him. Obviously,
yeah.
End of season 2. We got, oh wait, no, that was end of season 1 where he got the Darksaber. And so he got the Darksaber, which is technically, when you get it, you're the ruler of Mandalore. But she never got it from him. They didn't even touch that in the second one because he just started using it everywhere. So when he returns back to Mandalore, she sees it, she knows it. Obviously, he's in the court. He's in like the throne room, I guess you could call it, of Mandalore. Which that room itself has a lot of history, through Clone Wars and everything. So a lot of that season, you're probably gonna have to you gotta watch Clone Wars to like kind of fully understand some of the gravity of some of the stuff in it.
Gonna have to do it soon. That's fine.
I mean, yeah, and. So if you guys, honestly, it's like really the last season that really delves into Mandalore. So if you really just want to watch the Mandalorian content,
I'm sure I could probably find a YouTube compilation of like what I need to know as well, most likely.
Yeah, and
I'd probably end up watching the whole show.
Yeah, I'm just excited for it.
I'm excited for my boy Giancarlo Esposito back as Moff Gideon as well, because I love him in anything he's in.
Yes, so me too.
And at D23, he said that Moff Gideon is gonna be like doesn't want to stop Rampage, like coming back sort of thing. So like I'm excited for that.
Right. Because
and I just like him as an actor.
Like I was talking about with the siege and like basically how the Imperials took over Mandalore. He was a part of that, so he's definitely gonna know like something. Like the Imperials are gonna get involved and make things.
Mando also thinks he's dead, doesn't he?
I don't think so, because all he did is like gave him to the chick, didn't he? That is now a rebel and works for the prison.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he turned him in, because I don't think they killed him, because they just had him there.
I'm just remembering the one scene that he crashed in his plane and they thought like he was gone. Was that the first season? That was the first season, wasn't it, with Moff Gideon?
Yeah, that was the first season, because he crashed and used the Darksaber to get out. And then they showed him and then he was at the end with the fight with the Darksaber. So
okay,
that's gonna be it. That's gonna be interesting.
The misremembering stuff. I was doing it wrong. Oh well.
Yeah, it's a lot. They threw a lot in that first season. But I'm excited for them to delve more into Mandalore. Mandalore lore. But I don't know. I that's what I'm personally excited for.
I honestly really liked the show too. Just like the structuring of it. Like I think it was maybe the second season, or I think it was the second season. Like the first 3 episodes were like bangers right after each other. Just the fights and the action in it. And I was like, what? Oh yeah. What is this? This is amazing.
I think the second season, the way it kicked off was him wailing on people with the Darksaber, right? Oh wait, no.
I think so.
That was his intro in Boba Fett.
I think second season was like all the big monsters he was fighting, wasn't it? There's this big spider and shit.
So the second season,
I
I
remember
don't
the big
even remember.
spider thingy that he fought. It was like, I don't know if it was a spider. It was a big like mother creature. Because I remember it having a bunch of other things he had to fight, like smaller ones or something around him. It was like in a cave or something. But just the first like 3 episodes started with him like going around helping towns or just helping people with stuff in the second season. That's what it was. And that's what I liked. Him just showing up at towns and helping them like defeat whatever big thing was there. I was like, yeah, that was fun. And I hope we get a few more things like that. I want to see him fight some big stuff with the Darksaber. That's fun. Cause his combat's cool. He can fight.
Oh, he definitely can. And that's the whole Mandalore in him. Mandalorians are amazing fighters. It's why the Imperials had such a hard time. I mean, they even had a force like the Darksaber. The way they originated was that it was a force sensitive. It might have been a Jedi. I can't remember if he was a Jedi, but he was definitely force sensitive, and he created the Darksaber because he was a force sensitive Mandalorian. And that's where the Darksaber originated from. Was he wanted to make his own kind of lightsaber, but make it for Mandalorian. That's why it's so cheesy. The Force is so cheesy because it's all about like the flow of someone. Yeah. And so when they started talking about the Darksaber, how every time you hit, it gets heavier, you know?
Yeah.
And so the thing with that is, from right, is it's kind of, you got to flow with the weapon. And so
that's
you
another thing
flow
I'm
with
excited
the
for him
Force.
to see like this season, because he just ended off Book of Boba Fett still barely knowing how to use it, right? Yeah,
Right.
so I'm excited for that for this season as well, because I'm sure by the end of it he'll probably know how to properly wield it or lose it.
Yeah, he may end up losing it to like Moff Gideon or something.
Yeah,
but down the line, like this is like far down the line, because or maybe not as far down the line as I think, because it's Star Wars. They may actually that the Darksaber is going to Grogu 100%. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's not going to him, because, or I guess I think it's going to him with a double negative. But anyways, I think it's definitely going to him at some point, because
that would be sick.
It makes too much sense for him to be a Jedi and the Darksaber to be in the show, for Grogu not to end up wielding it,
and them to actually keep Grogu with Mando and not choose to be with Luke. Yeah,
right. He chose to be a Mandalorian, but he's force sensitive. So
I hope we get like a little bit of older Grogu eventually. Like not in this show, but just in Star Wars lore eventually.
Right, because cool. And there is a way they could. Oh my! I'm like unlocking theories as we're talking about this, because of what's going to happen in Ahsoka and how that might affect Grogu.
That's that's the whole thing that people have, like, what's gonna happen to him, because he's not in the movies. Like, obviously he wasn't thought about during that time, obviously. But like they gotta write it in. Like, what happened to him? Where is he?
So Ahsoka's gonna be a little bit iffy, because they're trying to find Ezra. Last time we saw Ezra,
Ezra Miller, he should be in jail. Sorry, I had to.
No, but last time we saw Ezra, he was sent with Thrawn. He literally hit random thing on hyperspace and just went.
Gone.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, because basically they wanted shit was going down. I don't even remember fully, but he just disappeared. The one thing they did experience in Rebels was that time travel existed.
I heard about that.
So
I think it was in New Rockstars. I was watching.
They were
probably. They were like, yeah, time travel exists in Star Wars, and I was like, what?
Yeah, they went through that in Rebels, and that's how Ahsoka is actually shown at one point as well, is through the time travel. But I'm wondering if they do that with Grogu, honestly, and they actually just find an older version of Grogu or something like that, or somehow an older version of Grogu shows up. Doesn't even have to be like Yoda age, but like just
I would love to see that,
like
him
teenage Grogu.
At least a little bit, and maybe know how to talk a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Because that's also you put in the quotes around teenage. That's also they can market that.
Yeah.
Once you make him a little older, guess what? That plushie back there gets a little taller.
Just about like that much taller.
And they're like, boom, that's a new Grogu. That's exactly what's happening with Groot. They went through the stages of Groot, and now when the holiday special comes out, he's gonna be Chad Groot.
Chad
and
Groot.
There's gonna be a whole new wave of stuff.
But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be something, that's for sure. And
I'm excited because, like I said, Mando is one of those things that got me back into Star Wars.
Right. And like I've pretty much been saying the majority of this podcast is that it targets that group of people that weren't necessarily Clone Wars based by bringing in something that is Clone Wars based, but having enough of that original trilogy feeling to it that it kind of aligns both. And they're just getting people interested in Star Wars again by making good content. And if they can do that, it's like they just have a wide open road ahead of them for stuff.
Basically.
So I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for Star Wars.
Me too.
Probably talked so much about Star. Oh, I could talk for hours and hours about Star Wars, but
we've got plenty of hours to talk about Star Wars, you know.
Right, we do. And so I mean, we do have that final one. We do have.
Yes, sir.
So earlier at the beginning of the podcast, mentioned something about DC and them putting out something that was the Black Adam trailer, which
that was what, Thursday?
That came out. Yeah, because they released it before D23.
Yeah, smart on them, because it's already out of my brain until we rewatch it now.
Right.
Like I remember some of it, but I really don't remember that trailer already.
And I like how I'm so excited for this movie. Like
I am too. This is the only DC project to be excited for.
Hey, Teen Titans is getting a season 4.
Well,
not Teen Titans, Titans.
I meant movie wise.
And there's also something else that we can probably make a point about at one point is that there's a ton of rumors going around that they're going to make a Teen Titans season 6.
Okay.
Tara Strong is one of the main pushers for it too. So basically, apparently the voice actors were told that if they get enough popularity and enough people that are interested in Teen Titans, we'll get a Teen Titans season 6.
Oh, what's gonna happen then?
I know. They're taking videos at cons and asking the question and posting it on Twitter and stuff. Like I saw Tara Strong did it at one of the most recent cons. But hey, I'm excited if they do that. But let's get into the Black Adam trailer. And here we go.
I'm excited to watch this again.
I know, right? Me too.
My son sacrificed his life to save me. These powers are not a gift, but a curse. Born out of rage. So mounted up.
This loose cannon needs to be locked down before innocent people start getting hurt.
He's been asleep for 5,000 years.
You find us a cell that can hold him, we'll take care of the rest.
Who's on the team?
I didn't bring a passport.
We don't need passports. We're the Justice Society.
There's a war going on outside when you ain't safe from.
Black Adam.
We're here to negotiate your peaceful surrender.
Heard about at least 3 killings this afternoon.
I'm not peaceful. Nor do I surrender. Here we go. I kneel before no one.
You didn't come here to seek justice. You came to exact revenge.
I never said I was a hero. You believe you are not worthy. But fate does not make mistakes. You have 2 paths. You can be the destroyer of this world. Or you can be its savior.
Oh, that looks
October is
so
a
good,
big
man.
month.
Dude,
I just
the
realized
end of-
that.
the end of this like year is gonna be a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. So, okay, I'm not sure. I'm like with Marvel, I'm not big into comics and stuff like that. DC even less.
DC
Like,
side, I'm a little worse as well. Like I don't know the Justice Society that much.
see, I know the Justice Society, but I think that's because they were brought in the this is podcast brain. With the CW verse, the
Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow. There we go. Legends of Tomorrow. They were in
yeah.
there. The Justice Society was in that
I
show.
didn't watch all of that, but I could believe it.
Yeah, they were in like World War II era Justice Society. So
I don't know that much, but they look sick. Like I know Adam and stuff. Like Adam looks sick. I can't wait to see the Atom friggin' grow big. It's basically DC Ant-Man, but
yeah. Well,
Dr. Fate looks sick as well. I can't wait to see him make some stuff.
I know. I love his character design. I saw so many people like dislike it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
it looks sick. What are you
that whole
talking
trailer
about?
looks awesome. Like the first trailer was good for this, but this one I was like, all right, this is the vibe for it. Cool.
Because
just him being an anti-hero, I can't wait for that.
Right, and this is like they have Hawkman, and then you also have Adam. They've done Adam in the CW verse, and they've also done Hawkman in the CW verse.
That's how I know those two as well, mostly. 'Cause
Right.
I remember the Hawkman storyline was in the Flash because the girl doesn't remember that she's like Hawk Girl or whatever, and then she has to come back into that and everything. I remember that.
Yeah, that's the only
And same
way
thing
I
with
really know those shows.
Adam's a big thing in the Flash, and then he becomes a main character on Legends of Tomorrow, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And then he retires.
He was he was Superman before that.
Superman,
but-
and they make that joke in one of the episodes. And
Yeah,
one
yeah.
Of the other,
Oh yeah,
other
'cause-
Earths.
yeah, when they do the like.
Oh no, it wasn't that. It was one of the crossovers. He ripped open his shirt and he has the Atom thing underneath, and that's what it was. That was the reference.
Well-
But he is Superman in one of the Earth things, the Crisis.
Yeah,
wasn't
on
it?
the Crisis, on one of the Earths, he is Superman. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
it's
one
funny.
of the, and I think it was the newest season of the Flash. When he's the Atom, is that little meta joke. He rips open his suit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's the Atom suit underneath, and I was like, I love that
That's
so
awesome.
much.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that it's only the 3 though is interesting. I hope they kind of delve a little bit into that on what maybe happened to the other members, or what other members did exist.
Maybe he killed him, Black Adam. Maybe that's why they're
That
like.
might be
Maybe
why.
that's why they're like. Maybe that's why he's priority number 1 to them, sort of thing.
Right. And to me, I'm like, are we gonna see like a kind of Wanda Multiverse of Madness type vibe to like Black Adam's character? Like, is he just gonna start killing people because he can, or like what are we gonna get from him? And
That's
then-
like his whole vibe by my feel
Right.
of that trailer. For the fact, like, even from the first trailer when he's flying next to the planes and he just goes.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care.
Nah, he does not give a single fuck.
And that's
at
what I'm
all.
excited to see. Just a superhero with the powers of a god, literally, not giving a shit. And by the trailer, they say that he's been away, like he's been locked away for
5,000
however
years.
many. Yeah, so that must also be a plot line where he's been like, I've been fucking locked away. He's like, I gotta do some shit now.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna do that, or if they're just because.
Or does he just wake up after like being, like that's.
I don't know, because I mean, you put an ancient Egyptian in this timeline, like that's what he is. He's ancient Egyptian. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do something related to the pyramids or something like that.
Probably.
But I want to see if they delve with the whole thing being power from gods. Are we gonna get like Egyptian gods in DC too, like as we're doing this? Because we have Shazam.
It's the same exact way Shazam got his powers. It'll be that old man, or it'll be a version of that old man with the staff.
Right.
That's. I think it is the same old man because that's the whole spiel in Shazam. He was like, I gave my powers to somebody before that. Even the little boy. He was like, I gave it to somebody before, and they betrayed me, and that's Black Adam.
Okay.
That's Black Adam.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I don't really know too much about the backstories.
We'll probably see that old man again, but he probably won't be as ancient then. Obviously, he'll probably be like a younger a younger wizard giving him the powers, maybe.
And I'm curious to see where does
That's why he
Shazam
has a
come in?
lightning bolt too. That's why he has a lightning bolt too, because it's the same powers that Shazam has.
Yeah, that makes sense.
like you, me and you talked about it. I do hope Shazam shows up at the end, but I don't think he will, to be honest.
I know. I'm just because with them making either Shazam is going to show up in his movie or he's going to show up in Shazam's new movie.
I think that might be what's going to happen. I feel like he might show up at the end of Fury of the Gods. That's what it's called, right? Yeah. 'Cause even the name of that, Fury of the Gods, like, he could show up at the end.
It definitely could. I don't know. I mean, that's literally his arch nemesis. So the fact that they're not, he's not being brought in. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah, you're fine.
DC's just so weird right now. We don't know what they're doing.
Right. And I'm like,
because this is in the Amanda Waller like Suicide Squad era too, because Amanda Waller's in here.
I know.
So like, it's that universe.
It's that universe.
Shazam being in that universe too. So it's like,
I know. And I'm like, there we go again. Is Shazam in that universe? Because Flashpoint was the main like one of the movies they were gonna do.
That's why I hope. I know the whole thing with Ezra Miller and everything, but I really hope that movie still comes out, because I think their point for that movie is to like reset this timeline a little bit and to clean it up a little bit with that movie. So I hope it still comes out. If not, it's just gonna be a mess, and they're probably just gonna be like, we're resetting it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're waiting until everything dies down with Ezra Miller a little bit to release the trailer.
For that movie, like when I heard they're doing Flashpoint on the big screen, I was like, oh,
right?
Please. I was like, I want it so badly, and that Michael Keaton's coming back. I was like, oh. But this is like the only DC movie I'm excited for now. Basically, Black Adam. Flashpoint kind of lost its hype for me now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things where Shazam and they could exist in the same universe, or they could just be two complete offshoots. But I don't see why they would be offshoots, because
I think they'll connect them at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if those are, I mean, what do you think about DC right now? Those two storylines now are going to be the main headline of DC.
Basically, that's all they have.
If you asked me like 6 years ago and told me that Shazam and Black Adam and The Rock were going to be the main points of DC right now, leading DC into their next stuff, I would have been like, huh?
Into a drive? Into a power?
It's not drive.
It's crazy, because like not even Batman has a set in stone plan. Like they did say yes, they'll do whatever Matt Reeves wants to, but that's not a plan. That's just saying, okay, we'll do what he wants whenever he does it.
Yeah, I don't know. The movie looks good. I like the feel of it.
I'm excited just to see The Rock in this role, because he doesn't like to lose, so he's definitely probably not going to lose to the Justice Society in this. That's what I'm excited to see.
And then you also have the whole fact that The Rock wants to fight Superman.
Well, his whole thing, and his whole thing was it depends on who's playing him, because
they could just be teasing the whole League of Super Pets thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he was 3 characters in that movie.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I don't know. I'm just.
Because he just specifically said it depends on whoever plays Superman, and John Krasinski was Superman in that movie. So
right. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know the direction they're really going with this.
I hope it ends on a good note, as in we want more, either from Black Adam or just the DC universe, because it's in a. People are making jokes about the MCU being in shambles. No, the DC universe is in shambles right now. It has no direction.
They just want to. They just don't want to talk about DC right now, so they try to blame stuff on Marvel. So.
Yep. That's basically it.
Yeah, and so. I mean, other than that, when it comes to like the Black Adam trailer, it just looks good. It looks good. It's a good direction. I think they're probably gonna go in.
The first trailer too.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the music too. It gives me the Wonder Woman vibe, but better. Like I hated Wonder Woman's music, but his music sounds pretty cool.
It's that superhuman epic music,
Yep.
So that dun 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 like kind of music,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be pretty good. I'm excited, and it's October.
It's Rock, so he's gonna promote the shit out of it. So no matter what,
he has promoted this. They made League of Super Pets that has him in it as the dog, as Crypto, as Black Adam's dog, and as Black Adam.
I knew that happened before I watched it the other night, but when I rewatched it and saw that, I was like, I can't believe this is actually a post-credit scene where he's 3 of these characters right now. I said, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And like, does that set up another League of Super Pets? Like, are we going to see Black Adam in League of Super Pets 2?
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
What was the point of that? Just to put The Rock in there more? Like Fortnite?
I honestly think so. I honestly think it was just a way to get people
have more Rock.
Right. Have more The Rock and kind of just put in there, hey, Black Adam's happening too, guys. Don't forget about that.
Black Adam with The Rock's going to happen soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could whimsically say that is Black Adam in the live action movie. Like in the League of Super Pets, they'd be like, yeah, that's our Black Adam.
Yeah.
They could. But
Oh
they
my
won't.
gosh.
But
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for all the stuff we had.
yeah, I think that is too.
I think we covered everything.
I think it's funny that we say that we didn't have that much today, but we ended up going longer than yesterday. Not yesterday, the other day.
That's true. I think the other time we tried to go through all of it really quick.
Yeah.
We're still trying to, like, for those of you still here and for those of you watching on the VOD, we're still trying to find our stride on some stuff. We're still a new podcast, right? So, but we appreciate all y'all being here with us and supporting us.
Very much.
And so I guess right now is really the time of, if anyone has any questions, you know, about anything we talked about or anything really in general, or want our perspective on anything, go ahead, throw it in chat. But then other than that, I'm good if you're good to kind of wrap it up and call it. So
It's getting late for me.
It's getting late for you. Yeah, it's about almost 11 here. You sound so happy. Thank you. Me and Biggie are so hyped about this. Like, content wise, like pumping it out. It's like, well, it's like almost like reignited like a content creator spark in me, at least.
Yeah, dude. Very
So
nice.
Yep.
It's nice to be producing something.
It is. And yeah, like we appreciate anyone who even watches it. Like, we're not doing this, you know, for views or for like money or anything. That sounds so content creator cliche, but we're not doing this for, you know, like any of that. We're doing it to kind of express, because we talk, like, I think we talked about this in the first podcast. We talked about this off stream anyways.
All the time. I'm like this as a normal being.
Yeah, like,
I might as well put it on the internet.
Or like 10 minutes before we even started to stream, we were even talking about like stuff, and we're like, oh, we gotta save it. We gotta save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for what this has to come, and kind of
Episode 100. Like I said, when we get there, it's gonna be a big party.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yeah. But I mean, other than that, no one has any questions or anything. I think we can go ahead and wrap it up. I think we stalled enough for if anyone's watching on mobile to ask any questions.
Yeah, that was a long enough time period.
Right. So, all right, guys. Well, I was Dirk, and
I'm Biggie.
He's Biggie. You're on mobile. Even better. There we go.
There you go.
So yeah, and all of our socials down at the bottom.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and throw us some love. Yeah, I guess we'll call it there. All right, and so next Saturday is our next podcast. So that stay tuned for that. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I think we're good.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Peace out. Have a good week, guys. We'll see you next week.